A Ho uprising, it was.
Clear. So 6 days later, the ban was reversed, and I guess that just showed the creators that they're the product. They actually have the power here of this platform. Because at the end of the day, the platform cannot exist without the creators.
Well, what really happened is that there were other alternatives. There's like Fansly, like there's like 4 or 5 other like places, Patreon, where people effectively sell content that's like OnlyFans content. So like you don't really need OnlyFans. OnlyFans is simply it's a middleman. So like it's easy to switch middlemen if you're not really providing any sort of like a value added service. It's a medium. Yeah, exactly. Patreon is not porn. What do you think all those girls doing the cosplay Patreons? What, you fucking retard? You some kind of a retarded? Like what's wrong with you? You have a retarded brain? You need to unretarded yourself. Just stop it. Just stop thinking. Just listen.
And the consumer's paying for it. So the reason all this actually matters becomes a whole lot more clear once you look at the numbers, though. Because in 2024, they processed $7.2 billion in total transactions between the fans and the creators. OF's cut of that was about 20%. And that came out to $1.41 billion in net revenue. That is a behemoth of a company. But after expenses, pre-tax profit landed at $684 million, with the entire operation ran by only 46 full-time employees.
46 guys ran a 7... Dude, I love it.
That is insane. And then Leonid's personal payouts track the platform's growth as you would pretty much expect, because in 2021, he collected around $284 million. In 2022, he collected $338 million. In 2023, he collected $472 million. And then in 2024, he collected $701 million.
Oh, man.
Which works out to about $2 million per day every day for the entire year, which means the total earnings pulled between 2021 and 2024 were just under $1.8 billion from a company that he paid roughly $30 million for. That might be one of the best investments of all time. But
well, yeah, I mean, he did a great job managing it and growing the company. He did an amazing job. It's obvious he did.
At the same time, the distribution between the creators is wildly uneven because, you know, you have this whole notion where a bunch of people would start an OF and make a whole bunch of money. But for the most part, that's not true. It's very similar to how Twitch is in a way. I don't really like drawing comparisons between Twitch and but, you know,
you don't like drawing comparisons between Twitch and OnlyFans? Yeah, you're right. Because in a lot of cases, you go to the ASMR section, it's the same thing. It's just the way it is. What do you think all these girls are dancing around here for? What do you think's on that link tree? There certainly ain't Christmas ornaments. I'll tell you that.
A handful of top streamers on Twitch that make a crazy amount of money, and then the average streamer makes way below minimum wage. And that's the case with as well. But I mean, that's just a whole nother topic for its own. But the thing is, by 2025, Leonid was looking for a buyer. And it didn't take long for him to realize, selling this platform is going to be a challenge. Because on paper, I mean, the investment is insane. Over $1.4 billion in annual net revenue, profit margins that most businesses would consider borderline unbelievable, roughly 380 million registered users, and fewer than 50 people on payroll. If you strip the context and handed someone the financial statements, they would assume they were looking at some sort of tech unicorn that had figured out everything. However, the context is the biggest problem here, because a large portion of the institutional investors, you know, the ones with the actual capital to do a deal at this scale, they operate under something called vice clauses, which are restrictions embedded in their agreements with their own backers that prevent them from putting money into certain categories. This
is like, there's all kinds of morality clauses and bullshit like this inside of business. It's very, very common. It's super annoying. I hate dealing with it. Everybody's a pussy.
And I mean, these firms don't only use their own money. They have liquidity providers or people who invest money into them, and they operate as a hedge fund, and then they deploy other people's money with the end goal of, you know, beating the S&P 500 in an annual return. And a lot of people just don't want their funds to go into, you know, investing in these vice businesses.
This is what a lot of the people, just to add a little bit of context, this is what a lot of the people want to effectively add, like supporting Israel onto one of these lists. Like, just so you guys understand, like, kind of like, because you see a lot of people talking about like divesting and stuff like that. This is tangential to that. It's inside of that same spectrum and that world.
Considers adult content, tobacco, gambling, and weapons. So regardless of the numbers, a lot of the most obvious buyers are essentially blocked from even writing the check. Exactly. Then you have the operational risks, which are, Visa and MasterCard. They've already shown that they could, threaten to cut off payment processing for adult platforms. And this is exactly what pushed OF towards its failed 2021 ban. And since the platform is almost entirely reliant on subscription revenue, it has to go through payment processors that take somewhere between 5 to 10% in fees on top of the 2 to 3% fees from the most regular, Visa and Master, which is far above the usual 2 to 3% that most regular businesses are charged from payment processors. So obviously that is a tax on their margins, and now they're dependent,
which is unfair in my opinion, unless they can prove that these people, like, they're effectively getting squeezed. Like, this is effectively a 1930s mafia deal that has just been turned into a billion-dollar industry. That's what's happened.
To payment processors. And not only that, but there's also a regulatory pressure. So
legal?
The UK communications regulator, they hit with a 1.4 million pound fine in early 2025 for a weak age verification practice, which, might not be the biggest deal for them financially, but it's a pretty clear sign of where this enforcement is going. And then you have that exit problem, because even if someone bought it, how do they eventually sell it? Like, taking it public through a stock market listing, that's essentially impossible under the current conditions. And there's also no obvious second buyer standing by, and the insane financials don't resolve the fact that this is an asset most people in finance don't really want to be publicly associated with. And I mean, if I was to guess, that might be one of the reasons why they tried to stop allowing adult content on their platform back in 2021, plus the whole payment processors problem. So the asking price of the platform started at about $8 billion, and no one was interested, despite their insanely high valuation. But the firm that eventually emerged as, I guess, the most serious buyer was Architect Capital, a San Francisco-based investment fund that got its start in 2020, providing credit to Latin American startups. And they had more recently become known for—
So they don't give a fuck, like that? They're just gooners down there, I guess. Down there in Latin America, bro, they just like, OnlyFans. Oh wow, do we get a discount now?
Tendency towards complicated situations, because its founder James Sagan was one of the larger investors in Juul, a vaping and nicotine product that you guys are probably familiar with at this point. And honestly, that's just a whole nother video, because Juul completely took over the world like right before the pandemic, and it definitely did extremely well during the pandemic. And then it seems like it kind of got like banned, at least most of their flavors got banned, and then suddenly you had like Geek Bars and all these other like off-brand versions of Juul.
I should figure out a way to sell drugs legally. I feel like, because if I look at this, like, one of the things that it seems like a lot of people make a lot of money on is selling drugs. And, like, if you can create, like, a new drug or something like that, that'd be like a pharmacy. Yeah, like, it'd be like a pharmacy. No, I think this is a good idea.
Arguably are worse, that kind of took over everything.
But the thing is that, like, you have to, the thing is, in order to be successful in selling drugs, you have to sell them to kids. If you can't sell them and market them to kids, what's the point?
Long story, but really, essentially, Juul had its products pulled by the shelves by the FDA, and they later settled more than $1 billion in lawsuits over allegations that it was being marketed towards teenagers. So, I mean, it's safe to say that Architect's brand has some tolerance for risky investments. And the pitch Sagan made to the potential backers—
well, I think that this will become increasingly more the case, right? Because, like, as more, like, you have different backers for this, but as a larger market for content that is effectively sin tax level content, like not sin tax, but like the tax for sin, like things like pornography, alcohol, etc., to the extent that those things have high returns, you can create an audience around making money off of them. It's just that historically there are structural disadvantages that make it harder to do right now in the immediate future.
Had two core ideas. First, diversify the platform, push it towards mainstream creator niches, and try to make it competitive with something like Patreon, rather than positioning it as purely
Friends and Family event is on now at Sport Chek, online and in-store until April 20th.
Currently, the media space has been dominated by how much some top earners are making on OnlyFans, but what hasn't really been discussed is how the company has lost billions of dollars in valuation in a very short amount of time. And things just got even more messy because is now in a very bad situation after the CEO passed away. So essentially, you have one of the biggest platforms in the world, especially when it comes to that profitability per employee metric that you've probably seen online, and they just lost the one person running it, and almost nobody knew who he really was and that he existed. So the dude never gave interviews. There's really no real footage of him online, and one of the only pictures of him online was the one from his LinkedIn that had no ties to the platform whatsoever. So that's a little bit interesting. But for years, he was quietly making billions running one of the most controversial platforms on the internet. But then, in just the last month, he passed away and left the entire business in limbo. So, I mean, to catch everyone up to speed here, OF was created in 2016 by a guy named Tim Stokely. He was the youngest kid in a family from Essex, England. And he spent years trying to launch internet business after internet business and had a whole lot of failures. And the guy burned through a whole bunch of his own money and goodwill from friends and family, to put it lightly. But his dad, Guy, real name by the way, he watched multiple projects go essentially nowhere and had funded more than a few of them. So when Tim came back with yet another idea, he went, okay, here's £10,000 and that's the last one I'm funding. Little did he know though, that money became the seed funds. And the original structure was simple. Creators set a monthly price, subscribers paid it, and the platform keeps 20%. And I guess the creator walks away with 80%. Tim's original pitch wasn't necessarily focused on adult content, but the idea had been open to anyone who could build a paying audience, including adult creators since 2017. And from the start, it was a family operation in the early days, with Tim's brother, Tom, running the operations and their father, Guy, handling the finances. Guy, I guess, was just their guy and father. And that one group, I guess they figured out the model faster than anyone else. And that showed up in some serious numbers because in 2018, the platform was getting traction, but running headfirst into some structural problems. The payment processors that made it possible to, actually collect the money from the subscribers weren't a big fan of the adult side of their business. And obviously, no payment processing means no business, full stop. So Tim sold it. And the buyer was someone that almost nobody had heard of, and nobody would really hear of him for many years to come. His name was Leonid Ravinsky, who was born in Odessa, Ukraine in 1982. His family relocated to Chicago while he was still a kid.
I think that any man that's in the dating world that thinks that a woman with children is baggage shouldn't be dating. And I think that that's an insult to motherhood. A woman with children is not baggage. So you saying that?
Hello, it's Anthony coming to you from Anthony's Check-In Live tonight. I'm just scrolling around here and see what's interesting there online to watch. I come across No Fugazi. Oh, it's actually, no, that's a Fresh and Fit video. Now, this woman is saying that any man who sees a single woman as baggage is not right. Okay. Well, I disagree. If you are a single mom and you got kids, it's definitely baggage for the man or the guy that's want to take them on. Because now you have to be taking care of another man's kid, and you have no connection to that child. And when the relationship is broken up, you go and they go. So it's a loss for everybody.
That sounds very insulting. And
How is it insulting?
It is. Because are you a father?
I am a father.
Okay. Are your two little girls that you have back at home that you care very much about, are they baggage as well?
How can my kids be baggage? What do you mean?
Right.
So if
how can
If I was dating you,
So how can ours be?
and I don't have any kids, and I was dating you,
Yeah.
would you be? Should I
you're putting
consider
it if
to
I
disqualify
was
you
single-
because you have kids?
Okay, I see what you're saying. If I was single, well, the difference is this. Let's go ahead and have this conversation because maybe you ladies can learn a thing or two, right? So the difference is a single man with kids is much different than a single mother with kids.
I agree.
Because in the relationship dynamic, the man is the protector and the provider, generally speaking. And most women want the man to protect them, to provide.
Correct.
So if a woman has kids and that man is entering a relationship with that woman, at some point in time, he would have to provide tangible things for that child. The difference is, it's not the same in reverse. If the woman is dating a man that has kids, the man does not expect the woman to ever pay any tangible things to his child. That's the difference, meaning that it's baggage. Not only do I have to pay for you, I have to pay for your kids as well. That's why it's baggage on the woman's end.
I think
That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes tangible things also have less value, not less, but things that are not tangible have the equal value to things that are tangible. Sometimes you're just putting it in a sense of, well, finances, I'm paying you money, you're seeing it, this is money, you could hold it, you could touch it. Maybe what I'm giving in return is as equal value, and it might not necessarily be finances, my body that you could touch, but what I can provide, it could be at an equal value to a lot of men. Some men may not have peace. Some men may not come home to a warm house with good food, with a caring, loving woman. And I'm not providing you anything tangible, but I am providing you security, love.
Okay, so you're saying that sometimes the intangible can be as valued as the tangible.
Absolutely. That's
what you're
exactly
saying.
what I'm saying.
And then you said, well, the woman can be providing love and care and nurturing and all of these things.
Right.
The difference is this. The woman without any kids can do the same thing.
Right, but you have
Listen. The difference is this. The woman without any kids does the same exact untangible things that can be valued as tangible. And I would agree that men generally, we don't even look for a woman to protect and provide. So we're not really looking for the tangible in that aspect.
Sure.
This doesn't mean that we want to take on more tangible things. You are actually the tangible thing, meaning that you're looking for the man to protect and provide for you. So I'm saying that the man would not only have to protect and provide for you, but also your kids as well. So that would be considered baggage because the woman without kids, what can she do? She can do everything that you can do. Give all of those untangible things that bring value to a man, but she's not bringing this extra baggage. That's all I'm saying.
But
Makes sense.
real brief, earlier we expressed on how you can't control your emotions. I could see a single woman that can come in and provide everything a woman with kid can, but she don't have the baggage. Yet that's not who I'm interested in. I'm interested in the one with the baggage. You don't pick and choose who you become interested in, who you emotionally want to be attached to. Maybe you choose the one.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes sense because you're saying, why would I pick a woman with kids? And when there's other women without kids, you might just be interested in the one with the kids. So whether she had kids or not doesn't even play a part
Yeah,
in
you'll be
the
interested.
equation.
You have to cycle this into what she
Yeah, you'll be interested with the one with kids for sex, but for relationship, no.
was speaking about, because that's the conversation we're having. She's saying that she has all of these prerequisites that a man has to meet in order to get a date with her. Pay for her hair, her nails, send her money. And then I'm asking, what does this man get in return? The man gets a woman with kids, and all the man gets is her time and attention. That's nothing.
That's what he wants.
No, the man is doing all of this and not getting anything in return.
That's
Like nothing
our
is even
business.
guaranteed on this first date at all. And let's I got you. I'm gonna have you speak in a second. I want to hear your thoughts. But let's like wrap this up too. Like package it up. If we package it up, the man gets nothing in return. Like nothing in return. Nothing is actually expected from your end to give him. What's guaranteed from your end, well, in order for him to get the date, he gotta do X, Y, Z. But once he gets the date, he don't get sex. That's not guaranteed. He don't get no head. That ain't guaranteed. What do niggas want? Niggas want sex. We don't even get that. You get what I'm saying? We get a chick that got some kids, or we gotta wait till that little fall asleep. Maybe we get to eat a fruit snack or drink some juicy juice. That's about it after we bust a nut, but that ain't nothing special. Like, what does the man get? We're speaking about the man has to do all of this but get little in return. That's what we're speaking about.
Don't
So what does the man want?
relationship.
What would a man be looking for that
And I
isn't?
want to touch on a couple of things because
Hold
we
up.
just spent through so many topics. And
Yeah, let's do real quick. One mic at a time. Keep that thought because she did want to go first. Keep that thought though. Go ahead.
Okay, so we just sped through like 3 topics. I want to, and please help me because I wanted to make a comment on each 3 of the topics that we just sped past. But one of the topics was that you said that, number one, I want to say that a child, whether it's coming from a single father or a single mother, on neither end is it baggage. And what I want to make clear is that money is not the most important thing. It is an important thing. It is a tool. It is a means to certain aspects of life. But you can bring money and be one of the worst people that a person could experience in their entire lives. Now, to minimize a woman's contribution to a relationship and think that money is the only thing that holds importance in a relationship shows kind of like a lack of emotional maturity, and it shows a lack of
It's
just,
shallow.
like,
Money.
it's
yeah.
very shallow.
Money has really no meaning to it.
Now-
It's not. You don't
Now,
get any meaning from
money.
it.
You have to have money to buy certain things, like to put a roof over your head.
Yeah.
Food costs money, right? But we have to just keep things in a full perspective to understand that when a man and a woman come together, you guys are both 2 halves of a whole, right? You guys come together and you create one. Now, like I said, neither a child from you or a child from
So
me
cold.
neither a child from you or a child from me would be baggage. Why? Because just because you might pay for some things for my child, right? You as a single father or me as a single mother, you're paying for things for my child. Okay, that's one thing that you bring. If you're a single father and I'm coming into that child's life, I'm raising your child now, right? And this is a single father, assuming that the mother is not around or not fit or whatever.
Here's one of the situations too, with a single mom with a kid. You in that relationship would have a very difficult time disciplining that child. The mother would always get upset. You can't hit my kid. That's my kid. You don't touch my kid. I'm the only one that's gonna do it. Oh yeah, but you don't have a problem with me, providing and paying the bills for your child. Don't have a problem with that. But when it comes to disciplining, you do have a problem with that. Yeah, so there is a issue right there.
The case is, right? I'm raising your child, I'm nurturing him, right? Psychologically, children who aren't raised in affectionate homes with nurturance grow up to be less emotionally stable, less able to regulate their emotions. What I'm doing is I'm helping you raise up a functioning, healthy human being, which is more important, I would say, than how much money you might have been able to use to put clothes on his back or maybe to buy him a toy. He didn't worry about whether or not daddy put a roof on his head. He worried about whether daddy was yelling and screaming every day or whether he spoke life into
real
him,
quick, I get
or whether he encouraged
real quick,
the
I get
woman
what
that
you
he
I get
saw
what
that
you're
was
saying real
raising
quick.
him as a mother. You
I
know
get
what I'm saying?
I 100% get what you're saying, and that part I would agree with. The part of like meaning that, well, it's more to it than just the money. There's nurturing aspect. There's things that's good for the child. We're not speaking on that part. We're speaking on the individual basis because we're all individuals. So you're saying that, well, you don't think that it's baggage. You don't think that, well, a woman dating a single father is baggage. There's no baggage there, or a man dating a single mother, there's no baggage there. The truth is, Ease be also on hands ready. The truth is that no, it is baggage. I would say one, it's baggage on both ends, but it's more baggage on the woman's end. Like, you ladies don't even think about this. The fact that if you're a single mother and you're dating a man with no kids, he has no kids. When he enters that relationship, at some point you are expecting this man to provide and protect your kid. If he doesn't do that, you're not really going to look at him as a man. So this is like an expectation from the current man that you're dating. You get that? Now, when you're dating this man and you have kids, Does this man have authority to discipline your kids?
I think that is a conversation that has to be had. But
Correct.
I think also if that is
Okay.
a parental figure in the home, and as long as there's boundaries that you both agree on, absolutely.
So think about that.
I agree.
That's an adult.
Would you like me to chime in? Because I'm in
Yeah,
a
you could chime in. Yeah.
Yes, I have a child. He's 5 years old and he's in baseball. So we do discipline him. We go to his baseball games. My boyfriend and I, and also my son's father is also active in his life, and we go and he
Okay.
disciplines
Let me
him.
ask another question.
We
then.
live together. He disciplines him as well.
Let's see if this is true.
Whoa, man, amazing car. When did you become a millionaire?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger.
Just gonna give names. Bradley. That's the boyfriend's name. Bradley. Your son's name? Kenny. All right, that's your son's name, Kenny. Kenny's acting up. Bradley smacks Kenny. I told you don't do that anymore. Get in your room. You come home. Kenny tells you, Bradley smacked me. Are you gonna go ahead and speak to Bradley and say why you smacked Kenny?
Yes.
Or are you gonna be like, all right, well, Bradley smacked you. Well, you must have been doing something wrong.
But I would have had
Number
the same
one-
question.
No, we need one mic at a time. Who want to go first?
Number one, they wouldn't be by themselves. Like, my man's gonna be at work. So when do he have time to slap him if I'm not there? That was not happening.
No,
And
this is,
number two,
this is a
if
hypothetical.
it did happen,
Hypothetically speaking.
I would call my baby daddy and he would be getting his ass beat.
Okay,
Because
so
you're not touching my son. You're my boyfriend. That's just not gonna happen.
No.
Yeah,
That's
there
my
it is.
child. First, I'm a mother first, and I'm a woman after.
Yeah.
So that's not happening.
You tell it, Queen. You
Allow
tell
me-
it, Queen.
allow
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so you as a guy don't have to be paying the money, paying the rent, buying the food, buying him clothes, and all that stuff. But when it comes to discipline him, if the kid disrespects you or doesn't listen to you, no, you can't touch him. Baggage.
Allow me to get
What
in
about
there.
you?
Allow me to get in there. So, quickly, very brief. Bradley would not have to provide for my kid. Don, what is it, Mikey, Kinky, whatever? He has.
sorry, real
he
quick.
has a father.
I get it, I get
let
it
me
for
let
you.
me get there
But
now
stick
to
with
this
the
part.
hypothetical.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me stick to the hypothetical. Now, I am going to ask Bradley. He smacked me up. Oh, okay. Hey, Bradley, what happened? What? If you have the authority to provide for my kid, you also have the authority to discipline my kid under certain circumstances. So I'm going to ask Bradley what happened. What happened?
There's
So
no
based on
accent.
what happened, oh no, but I will. Based on because when what's the kid's name again?
Kenny.
When Kenny
Kenny,
has
yeah.
any needs and I need Bradley to cover, Bradley comes and covers.
But smacking him physically?
I would have smacked Kenny myself if he would have done whatever
Yeah, but
he
that's
did
not his
to-
father. So
to-
red flag.
So I'll take that red
you
flag.
go.
Okay.
I'll
then-
take that red
real
flag.
quick, real quick.
Raising the child.
I get it real quick. Let's stick here. Let me hear your answer.
That's kind of like, that's exactly where I was going to
But
go with that
let's stick with the
topic is-
hypothetical.
Right.
Remember, the hypothetical is you not home, Kenny acting up. Bradley's that's your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
He got no kids. He disciplining your kid. He smacks Kenny across his face. Kenny goes flying. Boom. Go in your room, Kenny.
That's not happening.
I
What
think,
are you going to tolerate that? What's going to be your response?
I think it's all situational, to be honest with you.
Negative.
But that is the situation now. Stick with the
No, but
hypothetical.
I think it is situational, and as far as the dynamic within the home and your relationship and your children.
Okay, let me map
Say
it out real
it-
quick.
okay.
Let me map it out real quick. Just because I see you want more context.
Yeah, women can't stick to like basic hypotheticals, right? You know, like even a hypothetical that's got boundaries, it's got framework. They can't stick with that. They say, "Oh, okay, well that's not happened. There's other situations." No, the hypothetical is within this framework. This is what happens. Like stick to those framework. They can't do that. They don't have the logical mind to do it.
Thanks.
Correct.
I'll just put a little bit more.
There's a
in-
lot of gray area.
Fair enough. I'll put a little bit more context for you since you're asking for the hypothetical. You've been in a relationship with Bradley for 2 years.
Okay.
Relationship with him for 2 years, and you two, you could live together or not live together. It really doesn't matter. It's just the fact that he's home with the child with your child and he's disciplining your child and he smacks them and tell them to go to the room, what's going to be your reaction now?
I think I'm going to kind of ask both questions. You know, as far as tell me what happened.
Fair. Will you be upset?
If the response is not.
I'm not. I'm going to ask the questions I need to ask first
I
to
would
have
say
full context.
when you're done.
Real quick.
Because
let
you
it go.
never, until I have that information, there could have been a very serious situation. It could have been an accident. Say Bradley was like, hey, I made this mistake by accident. And
how old's the child?
Okay, but you really
I think there's also
you really went. The child is of age, but it doesn't even matter how old the child is. The reason, real quick, just give me 2 seconds to lay my plan. I got y'all. I really want to hear your thoughts on it too.
Okay.
The reason why I asked this question to express to you how can a man have all this responsibility of protecting and providing for you and providing for your child, but he has no authority of disciplining your child, meaning that responsibility without authority is essentially slavery. This man is taking care of you and your kids, but he can't discipline his kids. Imagine if it was reversed and you were taking care of his kid, but he was like, I don't want you nurturing my daughter. You'd be like, wait, what? This is innate in me. This is a natural reaction for me to be nurturing, but you don't want me nurturing your daughter? That's the same thing. It's an innate reaction for the man to discipline a child. He's already protecting and providing. The natural response would be to discipline this child, but you're trying to take this away. So all of this responsibility, but zero authority. So when I say that single mothers, from a general standpoint, a man with no kids dating a single mother, that's a red flag. That's so much baggage and so much responsibility that this man is taking on, and he gets really nothing in return. Like, you doing all of this just for a little bit of box?
Facts.
Like, it doesn't even make any sense.
It's not worth it.
I'll go ahead and land my plane there. What's your thoughts?
So to answer that question, right? And you said again, because I think all of us has a response to each question that you ask. Before we all want to hear what everybody has to say and what you have to say as well. So I know you had an answer to that question as well, but my answer was that as far as your scenario that you created, right? You said that the child was at home with Bradley. Yes.
Yeah.
So now in that case that Bradley disciplined the child, you said, would that be acceptable? What was the question? Because I wanted to add before you got off.
You got kids?
Yes, I do. I have a child. Yes.
Oh, you have a child, and
So
you've been in
said
situations like
Bradley-
this?
No, I because you started talking, so I kind of we got away from it before everybody else got.
Okay, so yeah, the hypothetical is Bradley is home with Kenny.
Right.
Kenny is your child. Bradley's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? Bradley sees that Kenny is doing something bad. He's not listening. He's being insubordinate. He slaps Kenny across the face. Says, go to your room. You come home, what you doing?
Watching dough rise always fills me with inspiration.
Don't look at my savings account.
BMO has 2 special ingredients to grow your savings. Great rates and no monthly.
So now my answer is that if I felt comfortable enough to leave my child at home with, who was the boyfriend, Bradley, then that means that, yes, I trust his vision and I trust I trust him to be responsible enough for my child, or else I wouldn't have left my child alone with him. So that means that he's to look after him, to ensure his safety, and also to discipline him if needs be. So if my partner disciplined my child while I was away, then yes, I am okay with that discipline. Now, yes, I'm going to have a conversation with my partner as to what happened, but at the end of the day, I'm not leaving my child alone in a house or wherever the case is with a man that I don't trust. I'm not going to be in a relationship with a man where I don't trust him. I don't trust his principles and his integrity to be able to protect me, to lead my child, in everything that comes with that partnership, and for his roles as a father and as a husband, etc.
Fair enough. So here's another reason why it's also it's a L when a man, and we kind of see it here, right? It's crazy. Here's the difference. and you said it. You said, if Bradley disciplined my kid and slapped Kenny, he hit my kid, I'm calling the real father to come beat my boyfriend up. So essentially, you would allow the real father to discipline your kid, but the real father isn't no longer protecting and providing for you. But the new man is protecting and providing for you, but he still can't discipline your kid. That's crazy.
Can I explain something?
Sure.
Coolly? Okay, so I was a CPS worker for a certain amount of my career time with my bachelor's degree, so child protective specialist. And so when you're growing up, when you're in a house and you're raising a child, there's different ways to discipline children. Physical, can you put the chat, please? There's no reason if you didn't make
the chat out.
If you didn't make that child, you have no reason to physically harm that child. Number one. Number two, I wanna be in a home where there's no physical violence. So him even demonstrating that and portraying that onto my child, that means he could do that to me, and that means I'm gonna condone that.
No, that doesn't mean that. But it means that the man is.
Can I talk, please? Because I let everyone
real quick,
speak.
I know, but listen.
Can you give me 2 seconds, please?
Yeah, she's going on to some other emotional feelings here about now she's projecting that, oh yeah, if the guy hits your child, he's gonna hit you. You know, back in the day, you know, kids need to be sometimes, not all the time, but they need to have a good smack to just snap them out of it. And that's the problem today. That's why they say that single moms raise sons that end up in prison, and daughters that end up on poles. Yeah, as sex workers, degenerates, 304s. That's the mentality that gets the kids there, is that she's talking about here.
I got a question just in there, because we go on tangents sometimes, but let's have the back and forth real quick. I do want to hear you. I see what you're saying. But the difference that I'm pointing out is you would, correct me if I'm wrong, you would be okay if your baby father disciplined Kenny. That'd be fine. If Kenny acted up with your baby father and your baby father smacked Kenny, said, go to the room, you'd be okay with that, right?
Yes, I'll be
now stop it
fine
there.
with that.
Okay, yes, you will be perfectly fine with it. But the new man that is taking on all of this responsibility of protecting and providing for you, this nigga had to pay for your hair, your nails, send you all of this cash app just to get to see you. He's doing all of these things, and he's taking care of your kids, but he can't even do the thing that another man can do.
He can raise his voice and discipline him and sit him in the corner. We could sit down at dinner and have a family like civil people. But for you to put your hands on my child that came out of my PUSSY, and that was not your nut, absolutely not.
Exactly.
I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm not going to condone that. And no man is going to hit my child.
And you know
It's
what?
not going to be a conversation. I'm not going to pull him to the side and ask everybody what happened here today. Oh my God. It's not going to be none of that.
I get
it's
it.
going to be you're done.
I get
and
it.
that's
And
it.
you
Because
know
at the
what?
end that's an ACS case too. So you're not gonna put that at risk. You
But it
understand?
would have been the same case from the baby's father.
Because he's gonna go to school and he's gonna say,
Exactly.
oh, this and that. But my baby,
Okay,
it's
real
just
quick.
different.
Let's stop real quick.
Period.
The
It's just
thing,
not
the
happening.
thing that we're getting at, we can say, you know, that's what how you want to operate with your child. That's fair enough. You
Right.
don't want the boyfriend putting his hands on your child. But the real father can put, this would be true. And you know what? Generally speaking, this is how most single mothers operate when they're dating the new man. This is how most single mothers operate. So it's not, what you're saying is not anything like crazy.
Apparently it is.
No, it's not. The part that's crazy, what you're missing, the part that's crazy is you can't see that another man has to take on all
All
of
the
this responsibility, but he doesn't have the same
no
authority as the man that you're not even with.
And that's his business, and that's what he does.
So
And
this is
when
why,
me and him
so
have a
listen,
kid,
this is why point out
it's
this point.
fucking
This is
baggage.
why when a man with no kids is dating a woman that's a single mother, generally speaking, it's an L. It's not good.
No.
It's bad. He's taking on all of this baggage, but he has no authority in that relationship with you and your child. And it's like 2 against 1. This nigga come home
Actually,
walking
no,
on
3
eggshells.
against 1.
Oh, Dean, I gotta please her and please this little bad, little nasty, little gremlin looking kid. Dad, I gotta please both of y'all. And then he's in the ultimate form of simping at that point. Full simpery.
Brief. I don't think, because this is what my response was based on. Your hypothetical wasn't literally smacking, like
No, it was smacking.
Physical
It was
abuse.
smacking.
No, I said that.
I felt
Smacking.
as though it was a disciplined purpose.
No, no,
like
no.
I
He's-
am disciplined.
so you changed your answer?
No, I'm not changing my answer.
Okay.
But if this man comes into my house and he sees that I never ever put my hands on my kids and that I disciplined them in different ways, I highly doubt that he would feel very comfortably, despite what Kenny did, to put his hands on
what if
Kenny.
he did, is what he's saying.
But that is different. That is completely different. And the way I say it different is like if you go and you just like headbutt, like, come on, Kenny, you don't do that.
No, he
I'm
says
still going to ask what exactly happened. But if you are doing absolutely everything, not just for me, but also for this kid, you have absolutely every authority because I believe you deserve it. I don't care whether you pay for me, whether you pay for him or whatever. If I don't feel as though you don't have the authority to raise my kid with me, you would not be in a position where you would be able to smack Kenny across the face. So I was
So you
truly.
agree with me?
I agree with you
Okay.
1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%. I just feel as though if you're doing that, I don't think a man is gonna come into your house. I don't believe this.
No,
a
the
man is
thing
gonna come
is-
into your house and
Yeah.
sees that you discipline your kids in a different form, and he's going to feel truly comfortable with putting his hands on your kids. I don't think that's.
But
that,
what if he
that
doesn't?
generally happens?
Well, I think that too.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to
No, you're
interrupt.
fine.
I think that these are all things that, if you're in a healthy relationship, have been discussed and prior to this situation even happening.
Correct.
What are boundaries of you as a woman, as a mother, and also what are his boundaries? So I.
Hindsight is 2020. You don't discuss these things in a relationship. I highly doubt it that these women get in there in a relationship and they're gonna sit down and go, "Okay, Fred, under no circumstances that you're gonna be disciplining my child. If there's gonna be discipline that's gotta be done, it's gonna be on me or the child's father." If a woman says that to me, any guy, and put down those limitations on me there, I say, you know what? Okay, fine. Yeah, that's great. See ya. And that's it. No, you don't have that conversation.
think that this whole situation probably could be completely avoided with healthy communication.
I 100% agree. The L is this.
in that, right.
I 100% agree with what you're saying. That could definitely be avoided if with some communication, you guys go out and point out your boundaries and you figure things out on what's the best way to discipline the kid, the best way to nurture the kid, the best way to have a good family and, you know, good relationship going on in the household. You ladies are missing the point. Like, let me just give you a male's perspective. If I'm dating you, right? No, not even dating you. Say we go out on a date. I know that somebody hit it on the first date. Hypothetically. Meaning that you went out with another guy and you had sex with another guy on the first
On
date.
the first date, yeah.
If I don't hit it on the first date too, I think that this other man obviously is doing something better than I did. So what I'm saying is, men, we automatically would think this way. So the fact that the baby father, he doesn't have to worry about having a conversation with you when it comes to disciplining his kid because it's his kid. He's going to go ahead and discipline his kid how he feels. No, listen, what I'm telling you is, It's not no requirement. You're not even looking at, oh, well, honey, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit Kenny today because he was doing this. He don't have to have this conversation prior to it. He doesn't have to have this conversation afterwards because it's his kid. So therefore, if the real father disciplines his kid, you're not even going to look at it you may feel a little bit like, oh, depending on how you feel about, physical discipline, you may have a different opinion about that, but it isn't going to hit the same if the man that's not the biological father that's disciplining a kid. The reasons I'm saying all of this is to put it in your mind that the man that you're with in a relationship is protecting and providing for you. This is the man that you're sleeping with, submitting to, but he has to ask and communicate to discipline the kid. The real father didn't have to do that. Even if you wanted to communicate with the real father, shut up. This is my kid. I do what I want. Shut up. This is my kid. I do what I want. So I'm saying that if a man is dating a single mother, he's protecting and providing for that woman. He has all of this responsibility. Shut up, woman. I do what I want. All this responsibility, I get a degree of authority. And if you're not with it, that man should leave that single mother.
I see your point.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete...
When a conservative speaks on a college campus, anything can happen.
We're not gonna fucking eradicate.
This is the scene of the original crime in which Meghan Markle, very early on in their marriage, she and Harry went on their Australia tour, and she reportedly said, I cannot believe I'm not getting paid for this.
They're using Australia as a cash cow. They are grifters. That is why they're here.
These two carried on trashing the royals and the monarchy throughout the deaths of two of the great figures.
They were no longer suckling on the nipple. That was the sovereign grant. You can't unroyal Harry. Born a prince, once a prince, always a prince.
They've just literally unroyaled Andrew.
There's one common thing that they both do, and that is damage the monarchy.
I think it's very damaging. I mean, it looks just like a royal tour.
This is exactly what you said you didn't want to be a part of. This might be another watershed moment where something has to happen.
This was the whole point of the Sandringham Summit. You can't have your cake and eat it.
It's no secret that the British monarchy is in the fight of its life. The late Queen, its global figurehead for 70 years, is gone. The monarch is still battling cancer. There's relentless global scrutiny on the institution's historic sins, and scandal surrounding the former Prince Andrew has tied the global brand to paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Little wonder that King Charles' state visit to the US in a couple of weeks is being billed as make or break, and little wonder why Harry and Meghan chose now for their latest cosplaying sham royal tour. We'll get the verdict from Australia, where the egos have landed, and I have an exclusive announcement coming up about how Uncensored will be covering this momentous existential time for the royal family. An all-star panel is standing by, but here to set the scene is Maureen Callahan, voice of Australia and host of The Nerve. Maureen, how are you?
I'm well, Piers. I'm so happy to be back with you for this incredibly important conversation. There's a lot of damage being done.
So let's talk about the damage. Look, from where I sit, what you have is an extraordinary situation where two people who have caused intense damage to the reputation of the royal family and the institution of the monarchy are now running a kind of renegade rival royal family, engaging in rival tours and going to places like Australia. And that can only be ultimately more damaging for the actual royal family.
Agreed. And we're watching these two do exactly what they said they didn't want to do. This is why they left the royal family, correct? This is the scene of the original crime in which Meghan Markle, I believe it was very early on in their marriage, she and Harry went on their Australia tour, their inaugural, and she reportedly said, I cannot believe I'm not getting paid for this. This is also the site of her reportedly throwing a very hot cup of tea on a senior aide in a moment of grave displeasure. They are now back there. This is what I truly love. They're there because they can't get work anywhere else. Netflix has dumped them. Spotify and Lemonada have dumped Meghan. The coffers have dried up. They are in Australia, where I am told reliably by many Australian audience members of The Nerve, They are not wanted. There is a petition that is up to at least 45,000 signatures demanding that the Australian government spend not one iota of their tax money protecting these two. I have heard from people who have tried to sign up to Meghan's girls' retreat, which is coming up the weekend after this one. And you're made to fill out a form in which you must disclose your age. These are people who want to pay to go. And I had one woman write to me and say, I had to put my age in. My age is 63. I knew that minute I would be declined. There are still tickets available. They can't sell out this. It's a 300-person venue. She can't sell out 300 seats.
Why is Amazon paying me $600 a day? Because I use Amazon AI. I'm going to show you a way to potentially make money by pairing Amazon with the power of AI.
What should be done about them, do you think, from your perspective?
I mean, I've been banging this drum for quite some time on the nerve with you, with people like Lady Colin Campbell. The titles need to be stripped. It needs to happen. And I from everything I'm told, William is all for just cutting the cord, cutting them out. And it's Charles who is the soft touch, who is very, very reluctant to do so.
But we now have precedent with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who was Prince Andrew, who is the King's brother. He's had everything stripped. And to date, he's not been convicted of any crime. He certainly hasn't been out there attacking the royal family, attacking the monarchy on a global stage. His offence, the reason he's had all his titles removed, was because he basically lied about a friendship with a convicted paedophile. You know, it's very easy, I would argue, to construct an argument. Once you've set a precedent for removing titles from people that bring dishonour to the royal family and the monarchy, well, why wouldn't you do the same to Harry and Meghan? Let them go and be what the Spotify executive called them, a pair of effing grifters. If they want to go and make a ton of money, you know, out of being Harry and Meghan, fine. But to do it under the guise of titles bestowed by the royal family and monarchy, which they have spent years trashing, I think is unacceptable.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, Andrew, I would argue, should have had his titles stripped long ago. It wasn't just that he was friends with a pedophile. It was that he was reportedly, allegedly engaged in sexual activity with girls.
I think if a zygote was 6'7", I still wouldn't care. I would still be okay with getting rid of it. So what actually is the value of like a single cell organism? Why is that something that I should consider murder when we're getting rid of it?
Because the only difference between that tiny, tiny human life and you is time and nourishment. The opportunity to develop.
Right, but that's still a really big difference. It doesn't have hands, it can't feel pain, it doesn't have thoughts. I mean, it's completely different in every way, shape, or form.
Do they not have value?
No, but if it doesn't have hands, a brain, or can feel pain, can experience thought, and is a single cell organism, it doesn't really have a lot of value to me.
If someone has a condition where they can't feel pain.
You keep saying someone, because you're saying personhood, right? Personhood is any human life, but
yeah, what these people don't seem to understand about babies. It takes there's 23 chromosomes from the woman, 23 chromosomes from the man. The building blocks of life is set. It's like everything that person is going to become is there. How tall they're going to be, premature baldness, if it's a female, what she's gonna look like, and so on, right? Okay, everything is set. So to treat it less than that, let me see if I can. Let me go back to my thing here. Yeah, boy! No, that's not the one. No. You are an idiot! I'll do it one more time. You are an idiot! Exactly.
Can you really look at a single cell and say that's a person?
Yes, 100%.
In what capacity is it a person like me and you?
I would say it's a person as much as you and me because it's an
In what
individual.
capacity?
How you're familiar with the law of biogenesis?
I'm not.
The law of biogenesis says that if there is a offspring that is of the same species as a mother, if there's an offspring of a mother and a father, then they are the same species.
Okay.
And they are.
I didn't say it wasn't a human life. I'm asking you,
So,
why is it a
so
person?
it is a human life in your view.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you're saying, so which human lives are persons in your view?
I think personhood comes from consciousness. It comes from a personality that develops over time. So it's really hard for me to look at something that has zero capacity to do anything a human born or even weeks prior to being born can do and say that's a person.
So you're saying that in order to be a person, you need to be conscious or have consciousness?
At
Where's
least
your
the
standard?
capacity for consciousness, at least the capacity for thought, the capacity for pain, the capacity for a lot of things that
A human embryo has a capacity for consciousness. It's just a matter of time. Like, what part of that does this person doesn't understand? He's failing to understand it. I really think that because he can't be that dumb. You can't be that dumb, my friend. Okay, I wouldn't say friend, but you can't be that dumb. It's you want to have a position where that the woman can abort their child at any time they feel like it, and you want to stick to that, and that's the hill you're going to die on.
Zygote simply doesn't happen.
Well, let's explore that more because your argument is that if you don't meet this standard that you're trying to define here, then it's okay for someone to kill you.
Well, I don't
That's
think
where
it's
you're
killing,
going with this,
but
right?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You can be aborted, you can be killed
Yeah,
if
sure.
you don't have this standard. So it's very important. If you're going to argue for some people to be killed, that it's okay to kill them, you need to be crystal clear about who these people are and the why it's okay to kill them.
Okay.
So you've kind of thrown out, well, consciousness, capacity for pain,
Yeah, sure.
different standards. Give me the definition of a person.
Well, that's what I'm asking you, because your definition,
My definition of a person is
personhood
you're
is
a
all
human.
human life.
My definition
But I
of
don't-
person is if you are a human life, then you are a person. That's my
So
definition.
if-
What's yours?
If you walked up and there was like a zygote in a petri dish, you'd be like, "Oh, that's a person. That's Jeff."
Yes,
Well, that's just the
I don't know if
same
they've
as
been
this
named yet.
person right here.
Sometimes they've been named, but even if they're not named, even if a child's born nameless, they're still a person. Yes.
What do you, when you are killing this in your capacity, what you call it, what are you getting rid of? What is the harm being done?
You're destroying an innocent human life, and that's always wrong. So I'm curious about for you to tell me, because
Yeah.
you're the one making the argument that abortion's okay in some cases because they're not persons. So I want you to tell me what's a person. You
I
haven't
don't know
told
if
me
I
yet.
have a very specific definition of person, but
Well,
I can.
that's a dangerous
but just
thing.
because if I'm not following a continuum fallacy, I can still look at something and say that's definitely not a person. I can say that speaker's not a person, and just because I don't have a definition, I can still look at things and say that is not one. And I can look at a single cell organism,
dumb.
and in every capacity, it's not a person. I have no problem with that being aborted.
If your position is that it's okay to kill non-person humans, but you can't define a person, then don't you think that's a little bit dangerous?
It could be if you were getting on some cusp and you're like, oh, well, you're treading over the 24 weeks is consciousness, 25 weeks is okay
so
now.
is that your line, 24 weeks? Because you haven't stated that yet. Is that your line?
I think I'm definitely okay with up to 2 weeks when it's still zygote stage. How about that?
So what about 3 weeks?
Well, why are you pushing past that? You don't think it's okay, right?
I'm trying. I told you. I believe.
Well, let's
life
just say
begins
that's
at
my hard line.
fertilization.
My hard line is
A
1
human
day.
is a-
Let's, for the sake of argument, my
So
hard
you're-
line's 1 day.
So you're saying that abortion is okay at 1 day, but not 2 days?
Sure.
Why?
Let's just say. Because
Why?
I don't think it's a person, right?
Why?
Why? Because it has no moral value to me. It doesn't have consciousness. It doesn't have pain. It doesn't have anything that I would
So
consider
if
something worth
if
preserving.
somebody is born and they're missing all of their brain except their brain stem, and they don't have consciousness the way virtually all other
Dumpster.
newborns have, really?
Yeah. If they don't have the capacity for thought, I don't care.
So you would say people with severe intellectual disabilities should be put in dumpsters?
Wait, hold on. You said they couldn't think. If they have an intellectual
They're
disability,
missing,
that's
I'm
a
talking
totally
about
different
an
thing.
example like baby Jax, he was missing his brain except for his brainstem.
Is this the person who couldn't exhibit any thoughts, right? That could only,
parents
there was just
believe
motor
that
function?
he loved
Well, I don't
him,
care what
he
his
loved
parents
them.
believe. This is what
So
medical
you would
science said.
dethrone Baby Jax in the dumpster.
I
is what
don't
you're
think
saying.
Baby Jax was even a baby. I think it was a husk, a human shell with no thought. There was nothing there to value. In the
So
same
how
way a
much of the
zygote
brain
has
has
nothing.
to be there for you to consider
Enough to
them
consider,
valuable?
enough for them to make consciousness,
How
and
do
he
you
couldn't do it.
how do you define consciousness then?
If there's any response, if there's any brain activity that you could exhibit, and Baby Jax
so
did
you're
not
saying
have
if
that.
there's no brain activity, then they're not persons.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
So did you know
metric,
that
sure.
there have been no brain activity determined at different times, and then brain activity comes back? Do you know that?
Oh,
That's possible.
like people can go into comas or be dead. Yeah, but there's a
So would
previous
you say they're
there's
not
a previous
persons?
there's a previous consciousness to speak
So
of.
now you're changing the definition. You're not saying it's when
No,
they
I'm
have
not changing
active
it at all.
consciousness. You're saying they had to have it previous at some point.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, if you have a zygote which has no previous thing, obviously it has no worth, it has no thoughts.
But
And
if
then if you have something that
consciousness-
had consciousness and went to sleep or lost some sort of brain activity, but then it came back, there's
Yeah.
clearly something there that you're valuing, no?
So I don't think that you are only your brain or your body. I think you're also your
Well,
soul.
yeah. I mean, you believe in God, you believe in soul, you believe in a lot of things that
and
I
I
believe
think
in,
there's
but that's
tons of
irrelevant.
scientific evidence for the soul. Are you familiar with near-death experiences?
Yes.
Okay, and you're familiar with out-of-body experiences where the brain is basically shut down. They're having a death experience. There's no
Mhm.
brain activity,
Sure.
and then they're outside of their body and they can see. And this has been tested. There's thousands of these stories, and the scientists
With all due
can
respect,
explain them.
I
And
don't,
what-
I don't
no,
care.
just to finish.
I just don't care.
Well, you
this is
should
this
care.
is well, no, because
You
this
should
is
care.
you're extrapolating and projecting your
just to
religion
finish,
onto
what
a
happens in
scientific
these
phenomenon.
situations, what happens in these stories is that people have a cessation of brain activity, they're in a coma, and they are outside of their body and they can see what's happening. And later on, when they come back to life, they report what the hospital looked like, what it looked like.
Another point is this, I don't know how old this guy is. He could be like 23, 24. So up until 10 years ago, the guy was just in running around, didn't know what he was doing. He was being taken care of by his parents and all that stuff. There is so much that we don't know in life that we should always be open-minded. When you look around, and you see all the wonders of of life, it's amazing. One of the things that always kind of fascinate me is space and the distance of the galaxies. They say that in our Milky Way galaxy, it's like 100,000 light years. It would take light to travel from one end of it to the other end of it. 100,000 light years. And that's just our galaxy. And then they also predicted that, or said that there's actually billions of galaxies in the observable universe that we could see. And we're only looking at a small percentage of the observable universe. So there's just so much that we don't know. And the arrogance of this individual coming across that, oh yeah, he knows that, yeah, there's no value to a embryo, human embryo. It's definitely something that I mean, I can't, whatever reason, I'm sure, like I said, he wants to have that option. He doesn't see the value of life, and that's it. So.
Like outside, what was happening in the room, even though their body was not operating, right? Their soul, in a mysterious way, was operating, because you are not just your body, you are also your soul.
Okay, that's cool.
And so
that's a very fun story. I don't believe in that.
It's
so
true.
That's really cool.
And if you have a purely
can we talk?
Yeah, this guy is fucking arrogant, right? I heard of a story about they did a brain transplant, and the brain transplant into the other person, the brain didn't remember, I didn't have the memories from the other, from the other person that the brain came from, and that was interesting. And I would say safely that that's where our memory and our recollection, that's where it's all stored up in our soul there, in that part of us there that gives us the ability to think. And the brain is just the hard drive that kind of organizes it and put it and disperses it. It's a dispenser. Yeah, your brain is like the dispenser, but that's why even like you hear about reincarnation people like that have the ability to play the piano like at a very young age, and are painters, that people that paint and they do all sorts of things, and they have never learned this stuff before. That's because their soul, when they were born, their soul came back into that embryo, and then when they become of age, right? Or when they're able to, when their motor skills are able to develop and process and all that stuff comes out, right? So again, very and this guy thinks he's smart, but he's actually very dumb.
Talk about reality for a second, though?
Well, that's
Can
what
we
I'm
go
talking
back?
about.
Well,
You're
let's talk about
rejecting these stories
I'm
because they don't
rejecting.
fit your
No, I'm
materialist
rejecting
framework.
your stories because
You're
you're
rejecting these stories because they don't fit
you're
your
projecting
materialist framework.
mysticism onto reality because that makes you feel comfortable.
No,
and that's fine. I
mysticism is a
appreciate
part of
that.
reality.
Sure. Okay.
There
so,
are things that cannot be
So
explained.
let's talk
like
about
this
let's
as
talk
an
about
example.
reality one more time. Do you
But
think
do you
that
agree
someone?
that
Do you
there's some
think?
things that cannot be explained? Like
Yes,
this?
but I don't just fill in God because I don't have a better answer for that because I actually have to
do you
prove
think
these
God
things.
exists?
I don't want to talk about religion right now. It's so boring.
You
Please.
said earlier you did. But
Well, I have a question about your religion. I don't want to talk about whether or not God exists. But real quick, do you think that someone should go to jail for getting rid of a zygote at one day?
I think that anytime, whether it's a zygote or anything else, you should be held accountable. Now, what that looks like depends on
Wait. Just to
the
be clear,
circumstances.
you think they should go to jail for
It
life
depends
because
on
it's
the
murder.
circumstances,
They
because-
they aborted their one-day fetus. They should go to jail
If
for
they
life, right? It's
intentionally and
murder.
willfully, there
Yeah.
should be penalties, yes.
Okay, so we should just be locking up millions of women
No,
if they at
I
all.
don't think that.
Wait,
and
why
I-
not?
Because I think that
You think
if
it's
make-
murder, right?
No, let me explain.
No, you just said it was murder for like
let me
20 minutes.
finish.
Come on.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that if you make abortion illegal, there will be fewer people that have them, and this is proven.
Yeah, of course.
In countries that make abortion illegal, and I think that the law definitely impacts behavior, and I don't want anyone to go to jail. I don't want anyone to go to jail. But if you willfully and intentionally, and those things have to be proven, choose to kill a child, whether they're born or unborn, whether you're a man or a woman, by the way, because there are men who coerce abortions, then yes, you should be held
Or
accountable.
trans men, I agree. That's very brave
Or
of
what?
you. Trans men. I appreciate that you're freaking
Sure.
out for the pregnant trans men of Berkeley.
Whatever you want to call yourself, if you intentionally kill an innocent human life, I think there should be criminal penalties.
Okay, I think that's an insane society to live in. But
Well, that's a society
wanna
we
ask
live
my
in
real
for your
question.
life. We
Well,
live
no.
that way for you. Why
We
do
live
you
that
want
way
to
for
take
me.
that away for the rights of babies?
wait, what? No,
We live
I
that
don't
way
want
for you.
to.
If
I don't
someone
want to
tries to
lock
take
up
your
women.
life, they get criminal penalties. Do you want people to be thrown in jail if your life gets
I don't
taken?
want anyone to go to jail for killing one-day-old zygote me. I think that'd be totally fine.
So you would have been fine if you had been killed pre-birth. you're saying.
Yeah, I
That's
would.
sad,
I
'cause
think
I'm
that's
glad you're
fine.
alive.
Well, I'm also
I'm
glad
glad
I'm
you're here.
alive, but frankly, I don't think we can speak on the person
And
of a
I-
zygote where we don't know the potential of what they're actually going to be, and it's totally fine to get rid of.
Well, you can make that
Let me-
argument about a newborn, and I don't buy it. If you're a human, you're
No, I
alive,
think
you
they
get
have
protection.
thought and pain, and you have this video where everyone's emotionally reacting to a baby getting shredded, but they can't feel that and they can't think about it, and
How do
I
you
just
know?
don't care. Like it's frankly something
you're
that
saying if
you're
someone-
not causing actually direct harm to anything
Yeah, I mean,
at that point.
you've
so.
thrown out a lot of these different, I would call them very arbitrary.
yeah, you are causing harm to it, right? Because when you start disrespecting life at the very smallest point of development, stage of development, you're harming yourself, you're harming society, you're harming your whole family around you and all that stuff, right? That person is not going to be able to grow into that family and have the life experience with all your family members. You're definitely harming people. You're just too short-minded to see that.
Standards for determining personhood and protection from lethal violence. And
well, you can call it arbitrary, but you can look at a fully formed human being and a single cell, which you yourself, with your own eyes, could not distinguish from any other type of cell and say, yeah, those are both people, even if you didn't know it was a human cell. So I think yours is a little more arbitrary than mine.
Well, you haven't even been able to note when this arbitrary line is. When it would be okay for somebody to be killed.
Yeah, but your own
not.
Definition doesn't actually explore personhood to the same extent to have a consistent way, right? You can say, hey, a single cell organism, that's a person, but you yourself can't distinguish between that single cell and any other type of single cell that looks exactly the same to you. You have to know that it's a human to be able to call it a person, but materially that thing is not a person to you in any way, shape, or form the way you interact with the person in real life. So
well,
it's just
absolutely
ridiculous.
A person materially, but a human materially, but
yeah, not in reality, not the way that you treat it.
Here's the thing, if you don't know what something is, let's say there's something that's in a bush. Imagine with me for a minute. You hear a rustling in a bush, you're out hunting. I don't know, do you hunt? Right. I don't know if you hunt. I don't hunt.
If it's a fetus, I'm taking the shot. I'll say that.
So if you hear something rustling in the bush, but you don't know what it is, are you okay shooting?
I mean, if life is not in present danger, probably not, no.
But let's say there's humans that may have been around, would you consider a pause before shooting because you don't know what it is for sure yet?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Because when you were saying earlier that you don't know exactly the line is, why are you saying it's okay then to have abortions when you don't even know where that line is?
Because
Isn't it better to err on the side of life and not shoot?
I think that's a really good argument, especially when you get into like ambiguous lines from like
Where's
24 weeks
though?
to 30 weeks.
Where's your line?
But I can
You don't even have a line.
definitely say that my line is at least past the first day, and you say that's murder no matter what. I think that's not erring on the side of caution. You're looking at something that has no capacity for any sort of personhood in any way, and I can say, yeah, that's very easy to say. I have no moral qualms.
I will be very happy if you've come here today and you said, okay, I agree with you, Lila. After the first day, I oppose taking that life.
Okay.
Is that where you're at?
I don't think you would be. You think I'm okay. You think I'm okay with murdering?
No, I would
so many zygotes that are a day. Well, it's progress. That's not my line, clearly, but obviously you think it's murder.
What is your line?
I don't want to discuss my line. Actually, can I ask you my religion question?
You are here to support abortion, and you won't tell me when you think it's okay.
Well, no, I'm here to contribute to the conversation.
And you're saying that somehow I'm the one with unreasonable standards. You don't even have a standard.
Because then we'll have a whole conversation about consciousness. I think it's around 20 to 24 weeks. We can talk about that.
With new partnerships, new jobs, and by supporting Canada's security and economic prosperity, Hanwha is committed to a stronger Canada.
Meet the 6-in-1 rice cooker from Our Place, powered by Fuzzy Logic, featuring 6.
So you are dooming a whole group of people, humans, to death. You're saying they should get no legal protection. I would shoot into the bush. It doesn't matter. And I think it's around 20 or 22 weeks.
Yes.
Don't you think that's a little concerning that you're okay with a whole group of people being killed and you just because you think it might be around this line? What if they're 19 weeks old?
It's fine. Do it.
Why?
Well, because we have to define the line somewhere. You're worried the age of consent, right?
It's 18. But that line is necessarily arbitrary.
Do you think the age of consent? Do you think the age of consent should be 18?
Why not 19 weeks?
Do you think the age of consent should be 18?
Why not? I'm trying to get your line.
I'm trying to dig down into your argument here. Do you think the age of consent should be 18?
The age of so this is completely different than what we're discussing.
It's called an analogy.
I know you.
I know you understand analogies. I know you understand analogies, but you're trying to get me on the well, you can't define exactly. Think about this. Can you just answer the question?
At least for the 2 days.
I know you support Trump, but do you think the age of consent?
I don't actually support Trump, so I don't know where you're getting that.
Do you think the age of consent should be 18? Oh, I'm actually really happy to hear applause for that, actually. But do you think the age of consent should be 18?
Do I think the age? You're talking about the consent for what?
For consensual sex.
18 seems a little bit. I would actually. I mean, in California, I think it should be 15 or 16.
Jesus
I mean, people.
Christ, okay.
No. Statutory rape should be determined by around that time, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
so,
but what's the
yeah.
exact
So
line
if
where
you're
you can consent to sex?
So right now, the law in California is if you are even 15 or 16 years old and you are having sexual activity with someone, then that's statutory rape.
Okay, are you okay with that? Is that your line?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
why then, if
And-
they're 15 in the day, is it okay?
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different than whether
Why?
or not this person should be killed
I don't-
and whether or not they're human.
But you understand there
and
is
I would
some
actually
moral
be fine
prescription
with
here.
moving it forward to 15 years old in a day.
Okay, well then
So
why not
that would
15
be
years
fine
and
with
2
me.
days?
And I would be fine with that too.
Okay, what about 20 years?
I think then, I mean, it depends on the.
Well,
I
why
guess
don't you have an
the-
exact
the
line here? It seems like
development.
you can't define an
I
exact
think
line,
this is
and
different though, my friend.
Well,
It's
no, it's
different.
exactly the same
No, it's
thing
not.
because
It's
what's
not. You're
happening
talking
is
about killing
you're
people and making it
incapable,
okay to
and
kill
you're
people.
talking about
That's very
raping
different.
children potentially if you
No.
define this line wrong,
No.
right? No.
No, by the way, anybody
Yeah.
who who rapes somebody, it doesn't matter their age.
Well, you said it's
rape.
statutory.
So
No,
yeah,
that's not
it's
true.
statutory. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if they're 18, it's
I
fine.
see
And
where
if they're
you're going,
17
but
and it's
I don't-
consensual,
I
it's
don't
statutory
think-
rape,
I
right?
don't think where you're going follows in any
Well,
way.
I
that-
think you're dodging now
we
because you
have-
understand that asking someone to draw a defined line is actually very difficult. And while you can say, hey, I don't think a 14-year-old should have sex with a 20-year-old, that's very wrong to you and that's fine and that's good. You can't draw the exact line, but we have these lines because we have to define them legally. Otherwise, we'll
It's
never have a
totally
standard.
different when
So
you're
while
talking
you
about
might be able
killing
to,
people
while you
and
might
saying
be
they're
able,
not persons
while you might be able to
anymore. So I
put,
don't
while
think it
you might
follows
be
at
able to,
all.
while you might be able to
What
point
about
at a
driver's
while you might
license,
be able to,
voting,
yes,
alcohol
exactly.
age?
You're making
But-
my
but
argument
in
for
all
me.
of
All
those
of these things
situations-
need defined lines, right? And
But
what
that
about
does not-
trying? What about
My
trying
friend,
a
you're
child?
talking
What about
the-
trying a
you're
child?
talking
What about
deciding whether or not
trying a
someone's
child
human
as
or
an
not and they
adult?
should be killed. It's not the same. I'm sorry. You're not
Yeah,
going to
but
persuade me.
and
It's
you're
not the
talking
same.
about is like, oh wait, you don't think I'm going
It's
to
not
make
the
you
same.
pro-choice right now? That's
It's
crazy.
not,
That's very bad
it's
faith
not the
of you.
same. I'm almost, you're
Can I
almost
ask
pro-life.
my
At
religion question?
2 days old of the baby, you're almost there. you were
You know
saying.
what? I'm okay with
So we
pushing it
got
up.
close.
I'm pushing it up to 3 days now. I think it's okay now. All right. So
Well,
can I ask
that's
my,
a, that's
can I ask my
better
religion
than
question?
before
Can
when
I
it
ask
sounded
my,
like you were okay
can
at 24 weeks.
I really want to ask my religion question. Can I ask it?
You want to go religion now?
Yeah. Well, it's
Sure.
not a
Let's
religion
do it.
debate, but I'm this
What's
is
your
genuinely
faith?
curious.
What, do you have any faith?
I'm like super atheist. I don't like religion.
Super
but,
atheist.
Yeah,
So
like,
there's
it's like
no
above,
God
like no. I believe
or
it. I
gods
believe in
or-
like a super absence of God that controls everything. But
So
let me
there is
explain.
a God that is the super essence of
Yeah,
God
can I
that
just want to ask my
controls
question.
everything.
This is being stupid. Okay, Lila. So I saw that you were commenting on like the recent like Trump Pope rumble, and this is
So why
going
did
to sound.
you think I love Trump from that? I
Well,
was taking the
I
Pope
thought-
side.
Well, I'm assuming that that's interesting. That's what I wanted to get into because I assume you vote Republican, right? You're here TPUSA. Did you vote for Trump or?
I vote for the most pro-life candidate typically.
Yeah, single issue voter, right?
Well, I consider other issues 100%. I look at all the other issues.
I think if you
But
think it's
at
like
the end of the
genocide
day-
and murder, this should be your single issue, and I
100%.
respect that.
I'm
to be
glad
clear,
you see that.
like
Thank
you literally think millions of
Yeah.
people are dying. My question is,
They are dying.
and this is going to sound like a
And by
gotcha.
the way, tens of thousands of babies are dying after 24 weeks,
Wait, back
which
to-
is your
wait,
line,
back
and
to
you should care
religion.
about them.
Back to religion. Do you think, and this is going to sound like a gotcha, do you think that the current administration or the Pope has the ultimate authority on biblical interpretation?
Definitely the Holy Father, I would say as a Catholic. Now I became Catholic in college. I very much appreciate my evangelical friends or my non-Catholic friends, but I do believe that there is a special power. The keys were given to St. Peter and it was passed on through papal authority, through apostolic succession, that he is to interpret for people matters of morality and faith. And that's what the Catholic Church, I believe, has done, and it's held the course on. That doesn't mean, by the way, that everything that Pope Francis says is ex cathedra or infallible. This is really important.
Right.
Because
It's
a lot
not
of
every
people...
word. So my question
Pope
then
Leo. Did I
is,
say Pope Francis?
Pope Leo now.
Pope Leo.
So when
Sorry,
the
Pope
admin
Leo.
that you
I love
support,
Pope Francis
when the
too.
admin that you
Yeah.
support, although I can see you're not a fan
By the
of
way,
Trump,
you
but
don't
the
have
admin
to
that you vote
agree
for.
with everything the Pope says to be
Right.
a faithful Catholic.
That said, when
That's very
the
important.
vice president or the president are having specific theological disagreements and saying that he is interpreting the Bible wrong, does that give you pause as a Catholic and say, maybe the party that I'm supporting is kind of cultish and moving me away from my faith?
Well, just to be clear, I don't support parties. I care about
You
issues.
absolutely support
No,
parties.
I
There's
don't.
one party that's pro-life. You support the Republican Party,
Yeah, but
right?
it's not for the sake of the Republican Party that I might
Yeah,
vote
it's
Republican.
it's for being
To be
pro-life,
clear,
right?
it's the issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
The issue
So
of
just
pro-life,
to be
which is a
clear,
staple
like-
of the Republican
Yeah, so just to
Party.
be clear, like, yes, do I think that in the end I'm going to be more confident in Pope Leo's theological interpretations than President Donald Trump? Yes, I will be 100%.
Yeah, how
But that
sacrilegious
being
would
said-
the Republican Party have to become before you said this is a greater conflict than my abortion
Okay, my
position?
friend, I hear where you're going with this, but very unfortunately, President Joe Biden, holding the rosaries, was advocating for abortion through all 9 months.
Okay.
And he was throwing pro-life grandmas
I think
in jail.
you're dodging because you don't want to say
No, I'm
anything
not
bad
dodging.
about
I said
JD
I
Vance.
disagree with what
Well,
the
you
Republicans
disagree?
are doing on a number of fronts.
You disagree?
And I've been very
Or do you
outspoken.
have,
but
like,
both parties are
specific-
kind of a garbage fire right now.
But your entire philosophy in life is lived through like Catholicism. So when you see the party you support doing things such as portraying themselves as Jesus and arguing with apparently the voice of God on topics of theology,
I don't think you're going to get me to go defend Republicans right now. If that's
I'm
what
not
you're
asking you to
gonna
defend.
get
I'm
me
asking
to.
you to. I'm asking you to
what are
defend
trying
or condemn specifically. Like, do you condemn like
I
JD
have-
Vance's
I
statements?
have many times spoken out against President Trump and Vice President JD Vance and been
Okay.
very lambasted for it. So
It looks like I'm
not
getting kicked
afraid
off.
of speaking against the president, and I will do so when I believe he's wrong. And I've done that for all presidents in the time that I've been politically active and had different administrations, and I'll continue to do that. So I think you might think you're talking to someone who I don't know is afraid or doesn't speak out against different parties, but I'll speak
I
on
think you
both
should be
parties.
louder, but no, I'm not
Do
misinterpreting
you follow my
anything.
ex?
I'm banned. I'm permanently
Then
banned.
how do you
so
know I should be louder if you don't even know what I say?
Because if you were louder, it would be on other platforms too, like YouTube.
Do you
Have
follow my
just wrap
YouTube
this.
channel?
I
Do you listen to my show?
I do. Well, not very much. I
Okay,
find it
well,
super boring.
before you
All right,
say
can
I should be
wait,
louder, you
I want to
should
build a
listen to
bridge.
what I say.
I want to build a bridge. So I think a lot of the
I
things
love
you're
bridges.
advocating
Tell me.
for are really great. I like the idea that you're like trying to make the foster care system better. I like that you want more mothers to have more options.
I'd
And
love
I
for
would
you to
say,
help me.
and I wouldn't say like I think you could be a very good pro-life voice in the Democratic Party because these are the people that are actually advocating for the social programs and for the things that would prevent people from getting abortions or having the option to adopt, to have social care. I think you should be supporting Democrats and be a pro-life.
Can you
So I
name
hope-
me can you give me a pro-life national Democrat?
You could be the first one.
Would you vote for me?
No.
Well, then where am I going to go? How's
Well,
that going to work? How is that going to work?
I didn't say that you're the last person. I say you start the movement.
I don't
okay?
think it's going to work without people like you who seem passionately Democrat who
Yeah.
actually care about lives that are smaller and more vulnerable than yours, like those in the womb. You have to care about them.
Okay. Well, thank you
And
for the
then maybe
conversation.
I'll run and you can vote for me.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you. Great to meet you.
Germans have figured out a way to increase water pressure by 15 times without using any energy. This new under $50 pressure.
All right. Just give another round of applause to Soy for being so courageous to come up here and to talk. All right. Of course, I want to emphasize again, this is like part of like the open discussion / Q&A portion. So if you have a question, you want to line up, feel free to do so right here. And we also encourage pro-life students to come in and ask questions as well if they have any. But with that being said, I think we're going to move on to the next open dialoguer. And of course, please introduce yourself and as well as what you study.
Hi, my name is Ava. I'm a current junior here. I'm studying media studies, and I honestly didn't know I was coming tonight until like the last second, so I didn't necessarily like prepare anything. But I'm not a huge debater. I don't necessarily want to do that. I want to understand more like from your perspective. Just for some context, I'm actually doing 2 research projects right now about like right-wing perceptions of immigration, but also I'm starting to get more involved in Turning Point and just like understanding like more of the right side of things. Even though I might identify more as like politically left. But with that, I think like with abortion, I think like the first thing is like the systemic issue of like people don't feel like they can give birth because of the, economic issues and like other things. Like if I had a kid right now, I don't think I would feel financially supported. I think it would be a very difficult thing. Like it would be more of a burden at this point, even if I did want to keep the child in general. So I guess more of my question is just like, how can we as a collective like do better to uplift mothers? And like, I haven't like done a bunch of research on you. I didn't know I was coming. So I guess maybe this is like a reiteration or maybe it's a dumb question, but I'd just rather learn a little bit more about what you have to say about that.
Thank you. What was your name again?
Ava, yeah.
Ava. I love that name. That's one of my nieces is named Ava. Thank you for coming and for the question. And I think it's a really beautiful topic and an important one because it kind of is the whole end game, right? Like, what are we going to do if I believe abortion's murder, I want to ban it, and we want to have this civilization of love, like, how do we actually help families? How do we help families? Yeah. And I think a lot of that first is like individual behavior. Like I said earlier, like love is a choice and sex is designed for marriage and marriage is the building block of society and family, like how we all make those decisions. But practically, how do we help moms? one of the things that I'm really passionate about, and we work a lot for at Live Action, is our Pregnancy Resource Center movement. It's thousands. There's more pregnancy resource centers than abortion clinics, and they provide free confidential care for moms and families. And so this is like free material aid, it's connection to housing resources or job opportunities, it's free counseling, free medical care a lot of the time. So I think we need more of that. A lot of that does exist, but a lot of people might feel like they don't know where to look for it. So I think there needs to be also more marketing and kind of connectivity in communities. And one of the things we are trying to do at Live Action is that, because it really breaks my heart when I hear people tell me, like, there's no one that can help me. Like, if they're pregnant, they don't know what to do. They feel, oh, I'm alone. Like, you're not alone. There are people who want to help you. So if you ever know somebody who is feeling alone, who's pregnant, please contact Live Action, and we will put them in touch with someone who will guide them through all the resources that do exist and the people that want to help them, because we don't want any woman to ever feel alone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important. I think like my follow-up to that is just like, because I think like pro-life is mostly on like the right side, right? And it's mostly like Republicans who are voting for like these pro-life candidates and stuff, is like, how do we bridge like the left side that like, I would still argue that I'm more pro-choice, but I wouldn't necessarily want abortion to be like my first option. Like, I don't think even, and I'm speaking from the left, I don't think even talking to more of my leftist like friends, that our goal is like first to just get an abortion. Like, we want to feel supported first, and I think that that would bring down the rates in general. So how do you think we can like bridge that gap between people who might still be pro-choice, but helping make the decision to actually like keep a child, you know, and like how can we even like politically like change the messaging to kind of encourage people to seek the support that like Live Action can give?
Yeah, I think we need to present motherhood as something that's beautiful and brave and good, and make motherhood feel more accessible and attainable. Because I do think a lot of the times we see motherhood as this sort of distant thing that seems scary and overwhelming, and not something that is accessible or attainable. And so the work of that, like, how do we do that? I mean, one thing is to make sure people know that community resources are there, like that they understand that there are organizations in this community and people who are dedicated to like helping you solve your problems, basically, so you can raise your child. So that's one thing, and that's kind of almost like a marketing effort, quite frankly. But then the other thing is, I think just creating more of a societal framework that sees pregnancy and motherhood as more positive. Because I do think they are seen, like you said, use the word burden. It's seen as this like burden, this surprise, this negative thing, and instead seeing it as actually it's really beautiful, and it's something that brings so much purpose and meaning, and it's a new life. So they deserve help. And then the last thing I will say, I don't know if you heard the last bit of my talk, but I do think a big part of what you're talking about is sexual ethics, because people don't get pregnant accidentally. Like, it doesn't just like happen to you, like, you know, that happened to the Virgin Mary because she said yes to the angel. But like, other than that, like the Immaculate Conception, like everybody else, like, we get pregnant because we have sex, right? And so, you know, I mean, you probably learned this in sex ed, guys, but like pregnancy can result from sex. And I think we kind of act in la la land, like, no, I'm not going to get pregnant and I'm going to have sex. And it's like, you might get pregnant. And so if we like change the framework and said, where it's instead of like sex, you know, I just have sex with my boyfriend or whatever, and we change it to no, actually sex is something really special and sacred. It's amazing, it's natural, it's beautiful, but it belongs in a relationship called a marriage, where you are committed to each other for life, you know each other inside and out, you're fighting for each other, and you realize we might have kids and we're gonna love them and bring them into this world. If that was the framework for all of us, like if you're at college, you're like, yeah, no, we don't have sex outside of marriage, that's ridiculous, why would I do that? If that was the framework, we would basically eradicate abortion and this whole problem overnight. And how do we do that? That's something we actually all have some control over, right? Like, you can make choices, I can make choices, we can all make choices, and nobody's forcing you unless you're being raped, which is another story, and that's horrific, right? No one's forcing anyone to have sex unless you're being raped, but like, people choose it. So as adults, we should be responsible and say, no, I'm not gonna have sex unless I'm ready to be a parent and I'm ultimately married to you and I love you and I've chosen you for life. If we change that framework, that was the framework of like our grandparents, right? I think society would be a lot better off and we'd all be happier.
Yeah. I mean, I actually agree with you on like a lot of that too. Like, I think
awesome.
Like, my most like important thing, like when I come to these types of events, is like to find like common ground and also to humanize like both sides. Like, to me, that's most important. I guess my like last kind of question is like, honestly, about like contraception in general, because like, you know, we go to college, like I would say the majority of people I know are sexually active right now. And just like, you know, obviously contraception is to avoid having a child. Like, do you have like any specific take on like, because right now there also are like laws and threats to like contraception being like readily available and widely available. Do you think that that's like a good thing necessarily, or do you think that that should still be like something that I guess like people can seek out if they don't want to necessarily have a child, but maybe aren't religious or don't follow like typical like I guess marriage like I guess ideas, if that makes sense?
Our plan to protect Ontario is fighting for every steel and auto job.
So did you know that 50% of women who get abortions were on contraception the month they got pregnant? And this is according to Planned Parenthood's research on Guttmacher Institute. Yeah. So people have contraception. Contraception is either cheap or it's free, and it's available. So it's not an issue of we don't have enough contraception. The issue is our behavior and choices as adults. And we choose to have sex when we're not ready to be parents, and we choose to have sex with people that we don't want to build a family with. And that's on us. So I would argue that actually contraception creates a false sense of security and a false sense of this idea of safe sex, which is actually code for consequence-free sex. And the reality is, no, sex is designed to bring life into the world. And even if we fight that biology, sometimes it beats us over the back and we actually end up having a baby, like we end up getting pregnant. And that shouldn't be like, oh, big surprise and accident. That should be, actually, this is amazing, what a beautiful thing, because we went into sex knowing that that could happen. So I do think it comes back to adult choices and decisions, and we need to change the framework.
Awesome. I mean, honestly, those are kind of all my questions. Like, I just wanted to learn a little bit more. So I appreciate you coming here, though, and taking the time.
Thank you, Ava. It's great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name's Walter. So I have a question for you.
I like your hat. Is that my friend Destiny?
Yeah, Destiny, yeah.
I know Destiny. I know him well.
Isn't he great?
I've had many a conversation.
Do you like him?
He's a, you know, I love Destiny.
Oh, that's great.
I do.
Okay, my question is, and this is a very important question. My 100-year-old grandmother has been on life support in a coma for the past 30 years. The doctors say there's no chance that she's going to come back to life, or wake back up, rather. Do you think we should take her off life support or not?
So yeah, I think it's totally illicit to take her off life support. If it's determined that there's no potential for recovery and she is in a coma, and by life support you mean, I'm guessing, feeding tube and breathing machine and the whole works, then yeah, of course you can remove her from life support. And any Catholic bioethicist or Christian bioethicist would agree. And that wouldn't be considered killing or euthanasia or anything like that.
Okay, I'm getting a call right now. The chance.
From your grandmother?
Yeah.
Did she come back out of the coma?
The doctors told me there's no longer a 0% chance. It's a 0.1% chance. Should we take her off life support?
So I think that you can't ever fully remove the chance because there could be a miracle. So maybe that's the room for a miracle. But even in those cases, you can, I think, justly remove someone from life support if you've made in the best medical judgment that the brain activity is permanently ceased and there's no hope of recovery here. Yes, it would be fine to remove from life support.
But I didn't say no hope. I said very small, 0.1% chance.
Virtually no hope barring a miracle, then yes, it would be fine to remove from life support.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have a position on abortion? I'm curious. I'm going to guess you might with your hat, but.
I guess, yeah. You know, there's a quote from Joe Biden that I really like. And Joe Biden once said, oh, I'm serious. Oh, okay.
What did he say? I like donuts? What was that one?
That's right. A long time ago, back in the Obama days, right? God bless. Joe Biden once said, I think abortion should be safe, legal, and rare.
That was Hillary Clinton, my friend.
Okay, well, was he quoting him?
I mean, maybe he said it too, but that was coined by Hillary Clinton.
Okay, well, he might have been quoting her, but I'm going to give Biden credit because I like him more, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's your position, abortion should be safe,
likes
legal,
Biden.
and rare?
Yeah.
Why rare?
I think that there is, I mean, like you said, I mean, it's gross, right? It should be rare when it happens, but it should still happen nonetheless.
Why is it gross?
Well, like you said, they pull the limbs off. Look, doesn't look good.
So you just think it should be rare because it doesn't, I mean, a heart surgery doesn't work. We're not saying it's this gross horrible thing. And
Yeah, but heart surgery should be rare, no?
Yes, I completely agree. That's a good point. Heart surgery should be rare. So you're not saying it should be rare because there's any human loss there. You're just saying it should be rare because it's kind of a gross surgery.
Yeah.
Really? I don't think that's what Hillary Clinton meant when she said it.
Okay, well, I don't like Hillary Clinton.
Okay, I don't
She
think
lost.
that's
She's
what,
a loser.
I don't think that's what Joe Biden meant when he said it.
Okay, well, I'll debate him on that too.
So you basically think it should be safe, legal, and rare. Only rare because it's kind of like gross, like a heart surgery, but otherwise it's totally fine. You don't think there's any human loss with abortion?
It's irrelevant to my point, I think. It's just...
It's very relevant because we're talking about is there a loss of a human or not, right?
I never brought that up.
Well, would you say there's no human then?
I think no, we're losing a fetus.
So what is a fetus then?
Do you want me to define that?
Yes, of course, because you're saying it's okay to kill them.
Baby.
A fetus is a baby.
You know what I mean? The
I know what
in
you
the
mean.
womb.
We don't know what you
You're saying
mean.
fetus is a baby, but it's okay to kill them.
No, it's the in the womb, the egg is fertilized, it starts developing into a person. That's a fetus.
Okay, so and would you say that? Do you know what the word fetus means?
I think it's from like Latin or something.
Yes. Do you know what it means?
No.
It means human. It means offspring,
Okay.
like child.
Okay.
So is the fetus human? If there's a fetus in a woman, is that fetus a human?
I don't think so, not yet.
So what are they, like some other species?
It's a human yet to be.
They're not a human.
Not yet.
What species are they if they're not human?
That doesn't mean it's another species.
So it's a non-species? No species?
Is like a sperm a human?
No.
A sperm comes from a human and is part of a human, yeah. But they're not an individual human.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I believe.
So you're
about
saying a fetus is a sperm?
More or less, sure.
Okay, but they are human.
No.
No.
In the same way
doesn't
that
make any sense.
well, in the same way that you said a sperm isn't a human.
Okay, so I think what you're having a challenge here with is they are both of human matter,
Yeah.
of the human species.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, if you're killing a sperm, you're killing a person. No, you're not. To become a person, you need to be fertilized with a female egg. And that's when human life starts. Whether they like it or not, whether they could debate it till the cow comes home, or till light travel to the next end of the Milky Way, it doesn't change the fact that that is the beginning of a human life. Also, too, that I had a point. I was going to say something. Okay. The thought left my mind there. If I think about it, I'll come back to it.
I think you're saying, or you're trying to say here, that the fetus is not an individual human life. It's just genetic matter, like cells, like the sperm is a cell. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So where's the scientific evidence to say that the fetus is not an individual human, but they're just like biological matter like a sperm?
Humanity is based on consciousness, I believe.
Okay, but you just said that the sperm is of human matter and the fetus you acknowledge is human as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think that makes sense. So I think the case is the fetus is a human.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. They give this an analogy that if you have a building and the building has like 5,000 embryos in it and there was one child, which one would you save? And they think they're clever with this one here, right? But here's my answer to that, okay? I would save the one child because the human embryo, fertilized egg, although it's a human, it's a human based, it is not inside of a woman. It's not in the environment for it to start developing. So that's my logic. That's my logic for, hey, I'll save the one baby and kill the other and disregard the other 5,000 embryos. Now, if you want to say that there were like 5,000 pregnant women in the building and there were one baby and they were like a week pregnant, and there was one baby, which one would I save? Okay, well, I would save the 5,000 women. I don't want to, I mean, you don't believe in killing anybody, but hey, you know, like, everything has a price. Sacrifice, you got to make sacrifices. So kind of that's how I answer that question here.
Life, it's an individual life, and it's genetically distinct from his or her mother and father, and they are their own unique genetic code that's growing, and they actually are a whole human. They just need time and nourishment to grow, be born, and become a newborn one day. What do you think? Do you agree with that?
Sorry, say that again?
That the fetus is his or her own distinct genetic code, distinct from his or her mother and father. They are human. They're an individual human. They just need time and nourishment to grow in one day to be born and become a newborn. Do you agree?
Sorry, I'm not following. I'm sorry. I can't continue. Sorry.
Okay.
It's nice to talk to
Thank you for coming. I encourage you to reject abortion because it kills human lives.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason why he can't continue is because he knows that she's right, and he knows that anything that he says, it's going to make him look stupid, right? So that's why he had to, like, he was freezing out there, right?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Space 44 super agents. Careful, there's no going back. No setup. Just say hello.
All right, thank you very much once again for the question and the continuation of this discussion. We're going to open it up now to questions from just anyone in the audience. We have a line forming here, and so I believe you're the first in line, so feel free to come and ask your question. Yeah, go ahead.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
My name is Naeem. Can I take this off? It's like leaning.
What was your name again?
Naeem.
Naeem.
Yeah.
It's kind of
all right. Also a fellow believer, and
Amazing.
my condolences with everything you've been through.
Thank you.
God bless you for coming out here to do this work in spite of that. I do a men's group in Oakland. I've been doing that for 5 years now through my church.
Amazing.
And we get a lot of men, and I do a lot of work with young women as well, who feel shame because they went through with abortions or they paid for abortions. And I think because sometimes in our faith, being called a murderer can feel so heavy, people don't come home to the church or come to God. And then on the right, it's just like, that's your right. You did what you wanted to do. So that feels a little bit more light and loving, although it may not be. And I'm curious, what word of encouragement would you share with people who've paid for abortions or went through with abortions and are feeling that shame, but don't know what to do with it?
That is such a good question. Thank you for asking it. And abortion is extremely devastating. Yeah. And you mentioned the word shame, and that is something I have heard shared with so many women and men, by the way, too. Like you said, who paid.
Yeah, so that's good that they feel that way. They should. It shows that they have a soul, a consciousness. And the next part I would say to them is that don't do it no more. Move on. You know, we all stumble in life and we make bad judgments. But once you make that judgment and you know that it's wrong, don't do it again. And also to help heal yourself from that is that you can try to save someone else from making those mistakes too. Don't make it totally better, but it'll make you feel good. So.
For abortion or encourage them, and they've shared with me that it was the most painful memory they have, and it's something that they still feel ashamed and bad about to this day, and they still feel this loss, right? Yeah. So it's very real, and it's in the church because a lot of Christians have abortions, or people that are, Christian curious or whatever. I think the message we need to share again and again is that Jesus Christ forgives, and he saves, and he redeems. And no matter what you've done, Jesus Christ can forgive you, and he can heal you, and he can save you. And that's the hope of our faith, right? And that's true for me, it's true for you. It's not just true for this other woman, it's true for all of us.
That was it, amen. And then also too, if I could give a plug for my people that are very, scientific based. There's a neuroscientist, Dr. Carolina Leaf.
Yeah.
You know her? Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but I follow her on Instagram, I think.
Yeah, and she was basically proving that science has shown that we're not just our brain. So that there is something that our body contains that actually controls our brain. And so I would encourage all of y'all to look into her, neuroscientist. Yeah, God bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, super fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah, exactly. We're not just our brain, we're not just our body, we're so much more. And this is what gets me about people. They don't get it. They don't understand. They think they know it. It's like this kid up there, these kids up here. They're what? Like 18, 25? What the hell do you know? You read some stuff in a book, tells you X, Y, and Z, and you believe it. Because it feeds your belief, what you want to live a degenerate life. Like the atheists. Like, hey, listen, you could believe there's no God, but whether you believe in no God, you still have a belief. You believe in something. Now, if you have a choice, I'd rather believe in God than not believe in God. Because when it's all said and done, if there is a God, hey, great. If there isn't a God, it's like, whoops, what I do now, right? And this is this is what these people don't get. A lot of people, even elderly people too, like young people, old people, they have this belief, and they're all short-sighted, very short-sighted. They just want to. They're very narcissistic, egotistic, and they want to stew in their misery, and they want other people to join them in their misery too.
Hi, Lila. It's nice to meet you. I'm a big fan. I've been watching you for a while, and you were actually the person that made me very pro-life. My question for you is, I was just wondering if you could talk more about the origins of Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger's ideas and beliefs.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. What was your name?
I'm Lizzie.
Lizzie. Thank you, Lizzie. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Origins of Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger's beliefs. Great question. And I didn't talk about that at all, so I'm thankful you asked it right now. So Planned Parenthood is the biggest abortion chain today. They're the biggest political proponent of abortion on demand. They were started over 100 years ago in the early 20th century by Margaret Sanger, and she was very much into eugenics. So she wanted to create a cleaner or purer race. She actually was a pen pal with some of the Nazi eugenicists at the time, believe it or not. She advocated for the only two-child policy so that parents would have to get a certificate of permission from the government to even have a child. She advocated for forced sterilizations of women who were the wrong ethnicity, or they were poor, or they had disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and she actually argued for forced sterilization of them. And she also did a lot of her birth control work in poor and Black neighborhoods. So she really focused on these certain groups that she saw as less than, to try to get them to stop having children, because she thought that their breeding was harming this kind of perfect future race. So extremely dark and messed up stuff. And to this day, Planned Parenthood still honors her, but that's the origin of Planned Parenthood. And today, Black babies are up to 3-4 times more likely to be aborted than white babies. Like, that vision that she had of controlling minority populations is lived out through abortion today on demand, which is really dark and horrible. And that is the racist, eugenic past of Planned Parenthood. And today they're still ultimately living in and operating it.
Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, that's why we're calling to stop. Planned Parenthood should be shut down. They're a criminal organization that's killing, hundreds of thousands of lives. But they're also being tax funded, which is insane. And so that's another campaign we're running right now. Live Action is to defund and ultimately shut down Planned Parenthood.
Hi, my name's Dario. I'm a first-year math student here. I think I'd say I agree with you on most of the things you say, but my one question is, don't you think that the issue of abortion is fundamentally intractable to a religious, you have to come at it with a religious perspective, else you wouldn't be able to fully form a moral opinion on it. I took a bit of issue when you were arguing from a scientific point of view, what a human is, without saying ensoulment is what it is fundamentally, because if God doesn't exist, then there's no reason why we should be okay with abortions.
What was your name again?
Dario.
Dario, thanks for the question. So I don't think that you need to have the gift of faith to reject abortion. And, I do think faith is a gift, and, I'm blessed to have that gift. And I think if you
First, one of the 10 Commandments, it's thou shalt not kill. Also, too, all morality comes from God. Because if you didn't, if you want to be a moral person, where do you get your judgment? Where do you get your judgment from? Where, that's where it comes from. Comes from religion.
want that gift, you can ask from God for it and it will be given you. But I don't think you need to be a Christian to reject abortion. And I do know many secular, even atheist agnostics who are passionately pro-life. Now, if you are a Christian, you should be passionately pro-life, and any Christian who's not, you're not living your Christian faith, quite frankly. So it's a core tenet of our faith. But I think you can come from a lot of different frameworks about God and still believe that it's wrong to kill innocent human lives.
Yes, I understand that, but it's like the question of if you're arguing against somebody who is pro-choice and they're atheist, like this guy, shouldn't fundamentally the question mega atheist, shouldn't the question be fundamentally God said that you shouldn't kill humans, and the human.
Well, he wouldn't care, right? If I
Yeah.
told him God said, he
Yeah.
would say, well, I think God is
Yeah.
dead, or God doesn't exist.
God
told me that's not true, actually.
Yes.
But the thing is, his framework I think is illogical, right? And I hope folks saw that. But he was saying he didn't have a line in the sand. He couldn't create one. He changed it several times. So I think you can't be logically consistent ultimately, and say that human rights exist or that humans have human rights, and then ultimately advocate for a group to not have them. But what I agree with you, and I think what I appreciate where you're coming from is that we need faith. Society, I believe, needs God. God is real. He is the author of morality. He's the author of human life, and we need him. And I think our primary job for Christians is to share the good news of Jesus Christ. So yes, I do want to continue to advocate for abortion and say, well, even if you're not aligned yet with me on faith, I think you can still reject abortion. I'm going to keep doing that. I think, the bigger mission is I want you to know the fullness of Jesus Christ and his love.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your question.
Hi, my name's Ian. I'm a sophomore studying philosophy.
Ian?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Ian.
Nice to meet you. I had a question about, what your thoughts were on abortion as it compares to chattel slavery. I'm a huge fan of your work, especially your podcast, but I'm seeing some parallels with kind of a lot of their nation's history, and so kind of what your historical perspective is on American ethics.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, obviously child slavery is horrible, and there has been a history of that in the U.S., race-based child slavery. There was child labor in the U.S. up until we had child labor laws. So I think those are just injustices where we saw people who were more vulnerable as effectively dispensable or people that could be dominated. And I think there's definitely a correlation with abortion.
Sorry, I meant chattel slavery.
Chattel, okay. Well, that's horrible too. And child slavery. Chattel slavery, I think, is horrific, and it's another part of our history where we saw certain groups of humans as less than and not full persons. So yeah, I think there's a great connection between abortion there, in that we similarly see unborn babies as not full humans because they're not full persons, and they can be dominated the way we dominated groups in this country, but when slavery was legal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Lila. I just want to say thank you for your courage. This proves the power of democracy, the fact that you can still come here and speak your truth.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
I am a mother, a wife. I work in constitutional law. And so I want to ask you, the first question is...
What's your name, by the way?
Oh, my name's Desiree.
Desiree, thank you.
Two of my chickadees are in the back,
Aw.
my tweens and my teens.
So nice to meet you, Desiree.
Nice to meet you too. We watch your videos. They are learning how to have these conversations because I actually was a pro-life president in my undergrad at Miami University of Ohio.
Amazing. Yay. You're the OG. That's so awesome.
And I became that way because I care about justice.
Amen.
And
Thank
so for
you.
those of you who don't know, Margaret Sanger, if you get a chance to read her actual book, which Planned Parenthood keeps on hiding and remixing and saying doesn't exist. I actually read her book because I worked in the library at my college. Pivot of Civilization. Read it for yourself. The Negro Project. Read it for yourself. She said that my people don't deserve to live. She said anybody disabled, anybody different did not deserve to live. So for me, this is a justice issue because my kids shouldn't even be here because of what Margaret Sanger said. She hung out with a lot of the Hitler people. Look her up. Don't just Google her because the chatbots and stuff are already skewed against this information, y'all. Read for yourself. That's why I'm pro-life. We brought Jane Roe to Miami University before she
Wow.
died.
You are amazing.
They ripped our posters down because they didn't want her to talk. If you want to know the truth, why are you hiding it from people? Why? She told me she couldn't go to sleep after the Supreme Court. She said she had both her kids by the time the Supreme Court case was done.
Yeah, she never had an abortion. Jane
No,
Roe.
because they used her to push something else. She couldn't go to sleep at night because she said all she saw was dead babies. She died with a drinking problem and she turned pro-life because the pro-lifers outside the abortion clinics were loving on her and saying, yes, we know that you can't afford. Our people don't need to hear that, well, we can't afford you. There's Black maternal death. You guys have poverty. Women can't have equal rights because you can't compete with men unless you kill your children. This is it? I have to kill my children? This is as good as America gets? This isn't good enough for me. I'm not settling for this. And your generation shouldn't settle for this. Think critically, read it for yourself. Don't just believe what the Republicans are saying to you, the Democrats are saying to you. Read for yourself. Don't believe what the algorithm's telling you. They're only gonna tell you what you wanna know. Read in between the lines. Critical thinking is what's gonna win America back, y'all.
You are amazing.
Unfortunately, critical thinking have left the building. So that's my take on that. You know, it's like there's there gonna be like a few people that do be able to practice it, but majority, no. They don't have that ability to think. They're like stuck in their ways.
We need to put this lady on a speaking tour. Sign her up. You are amazing, Desiree. We need you. Seriously, I mean that. We need you on a speaking tour. You're phenomenal.
Well, I
Thank
love
you for
this
your
year.
work. Thank you. Thank you for your courage. I know that it takes courage. Are you here in Berkeley?
We actually live in the Bay Area. We serve in Oakland.
You're in Oakland. You're
yeah.
amazing. Your voice is so powerful. Thank you. Thank you for raising your children in the truth and for being so fierce for life. It's so needed. You're amazing. You're my hero. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I also wanted to thank you. Thank you. I also wanted to thank you for Christina Bennett. I follow her on Instagram.
Love her.
If you want to follow a great African-American pro-life woman who works with Lila Rose, Christina Bennett, y'all.
She's another treasure. She's amazing.
Amazing. There are atheists who are pro-life. There are gays who are pro-life. There are Democrats that are pro-life. Don't believe that it's just Christians. I am a follower of Jesus, and I love it. I love Jesus. I do. He's amazing. Marriage is beautiful.
Amen.
Having children is beautiful. The happiest people who have sex are married people.
It's
Don't
true.
believe the lies.
It's preach. It
We
is so
enjoy
true.
it.
I didn't even share that, and I actually thought about it, but the social data shows that
Yes.
people who are married are the happiest and they have the most sex. They're the most happily
Yes.
sexually. So
Yes.
get married, have babies,
Yes.
love Jesus.
Yes. So my last question is, what is the picture of beauty that you think the spirit of this age, and that the enemy of our souls, right? Because the Bible says that Satan hates humanity. Read the book of John if you don't read the Bible. He hates everyone in here, but he wants us to think there's no heaven, no hell. What picture of beauty do you think that this generation and the spirit of this age is missing that makes them only see, a lot of them only see the negatives about America, the negatives about, our people went through enslavement, but they were very hopeful people. They were very loving. They were very forgiving people. What is missing?
It's such a good question. The immediate thought that comes into my mind is the image of a mother and her child. And I think about the book of Revelations where the serpent, the dragon, is about to devour the baby because he hates the baby. The mother's giving birth and the baby's coming. The devil, the demons hate babies. What is the most beautiful thing in the world? The laughter of a baby, a little baby, right? And somehow we have come to see the baby as this emblem of this like burden and this inconvenience and this problem. That's really the lie of the age. So I think we have to just keep showing people the beauty of babies and of marriage and family. And it sounds like you've got a beautiful family and marriage. And I'm sure there are people around you, maybe they haven't fully acknowledged it internally, but they see you and it gives them a little glimmer of hope for what's possible for marriage and family. And just keep loving, right? That's what we can do. That's the beauty. Love.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to get married, to have babies, to love God. Don't be afraid.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Desiree. Thank you.
Hi, Lila. My name's Melanie Salazar. Originally, I'm from Texas. Yeehaw, remember the Alamo. I moved to California about 2.5 years ago now, after life became legally protected in my home state. I'm now the executive director of Pro-Life San Francisco.
Amazing. You are amazing.
Yes, so came here to try to save some babies, help some moms.
I love
And
it.
My question for you is I would love to pick your brain on strategy. How are we going to end the genocide of the preborn, in your opinion?
Yes, thank you. Melody, right? Melanie, you're amazing. Thank you for going to San Francisco. I love you guys, and I'm so grateful for you. Okay, how do we do this in California in particular? Thank you for coming here.
Especially
The rescue
in
mission.
pro-abortion states.
So educate, obviously, and activate. You're doing activism in San Francisco. Keep it up. I know it's hard and you get tons of hate, but keep it up. People see it and it impacts their conscience. So keep it up. I think we do have to change hearts and minds. And I think we need to help people not be afraid. It's kind of like what Desiree was saying, show a positive vision of what's possible. I do think we got to talk about sexual ethics and present a different path for people, because I think if we keep on this idea that you can just have sex without consequences, it's going to be really hard to undo abortion. It's just going to be very, very difficult because that's really how we're locked in right now. People just think that sex is detached completely from consequences because it's their right, and then we have this desire for abortion, right? And so that's a very core change that needs to take place. And I think the only way it takes place is through, again, educating, living that way yourself, sharing the goodness of that with other people, one heart and soul at a time. Public policy matters. I do like Chad Bianco. I don't know if you know him, Governor of California. He has told me on my show that he would not let any funding go through for abortion, and he's passionately pro-life in California. And I think we can flip the state. I really do. And Chad Bianco is amazing. Yes. So that's not going to solve it overnight, but that will make progress. I think we need to be politically active as pro-lifers. It's really dire out there, but there is opportunity, like someone like a Chad, that we can advocate for. He might make it on the ballot. He's looking like he's one of the top in the polls right now, which is amazing. And I think we need to double down on support. And that means for mothers who are struggling, families who are struggling, more pregnancy care support, make sure that there's marketing for them. I mean, this is all kind of projects we're working on. Foster care, improve the system. There's a lot of need there. Make adoption look like an option again, because it's very stigmatized today. Those are all things that we can work on to save lives. I'm so grateful for you. What do you think, by the way? What do you think we need to do?
Girl, what do I think?
Add to the list.
Yes, I think we need immediate financial aid, healthcare, housing, and food for pregnant women. I think that we need to be for family preservation, to keep families together. I'm a mother with her child, whatever the circumstances may be. I think that, gosh, there's so much that can be done.
Yeah, and first of all, they keep fathers in their home, marriages together, and I say women should get out of the workforce and back in the kitchen, and be at home. That would solve a lot of the problems, because when you have a two family household, mom and dad, they're going to raise, the majority of the time, they're going to raise balanced, adjusted children. That's going to keep their daughters off the poles and their son out of jail. And, the mother, she, in the beginning, she could do the nurturing and all that stuff and give support. But when kids get 10, 11, 12, it's the father's the one that really drives it home and keeps him straight and narrow. Because a woman is just like, she can't do it. She not that all of them can, but it's very difficult for them to do it because they're very emotional. They always, it's okay, Johnny. It's okay. It's okay, Susie. Whatever, right? So she's always going to be emotionally lax towards the kids, where fathers are just stern. That's it. Done. Don't ask me no more.
But yeah, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is an immediate, no waiting period, food, housing, healthcare, financial stability for pregnant women when they find themselves in an unexpected pregnancy, to make it painfully easy to choose life.
I love that.
For life to be the more appealing option.
I feel like California, even the people that say they support abortion, right? They're willing to write legislation to support, people that are struggling, et cetera. That seems like something that maybe we could make bipartisan support progress with.
Yeah, I hope so.
So let's work on it.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm with you.
You're awesome. Thank you for everything you're doing. Keep it up. You're amazing.
Okay, so before we get to the next few questions, just want to say that we're running low on time. So if the next people who ask questions want to keep it prompt, so that way we can get through everyone, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Hello, Lila. It's an honor and a blessing to be able to talk to you. My name is Kiara, and God willing, in the fall, I will be a Franciscan University student, and I'm really excited. And again, it's an honor talking to you. I've been passionately pro-life since I was very young. When I was 5 years old, we would go to the Walk for Lives with the baby, like in a stroller, myself as walking with my little flag and everything else. But in my being a pro-life passionately, I've lost a lot of relationships. A lot of people have just stopped talking to me. But my question would be for you, in a heated conversation or in a relationship that has been lost because of your beliefs, what is your advice to do?
Okay, such a good question. It's Kiara, right?
Yes.
I love your
Yeah, my advice to them is that, hey, you don't need them. People like that just want to just drag you down. And you don't need them. You're better off without them. And you find more peace within yourself than having these people around. So look at it as a blessing. That's how I look at it. That's how I would look at it. It's great. You don't want to be around me because I don't want to kill babies. Fine. Be gone. Right? That's how you look at it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Don't make things too complicated. Things are really simple in life. You do the right thing, you're going to get the right results.
Name and congratulations on going to Franciscan. That's so exciting. It's a great question. What do you do with people that you oppose your belief on life or faith and they've stopped talking to you? It sounds like you're asking, which is really devastating, right? I mean, if someone's put up a boundary that they don't want to talk to you, there's not much you can do for them besides pray for them, really, because you're not going to like just harass them and be like, I love you, don't leave me, you know, even if you love them and you don't want them to leave you. But I think no matter the situation, we should always show love and forgiveness and patience with people we love and who disagree with us. And that's in conversations we may have, disagreements we may have, but like always be that person that they know they can call you after 10 years, even if they are mad at you, because you love them. You strongly disagree, you're bold about your beliefs, you're not gonna hide them, you're gonna be willing to talk about them, but you want their best and you are a safe person who loves them. And if you can be that for them, then you might just get that call in 10 years because that love stands the test of time.
Thank you very much, Lila.
Thanks, Kara.
All right, unfortunately, this will be the last question, but thank you for everyone who's come up and participated.
Thank you guys, this has been amazing.
Hi, I'm Miguel. I'm from Nicaragua. I was living in Medjugorje for the last 2 years. So
wow, amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's sad, to be honest, to come back and see so many young people just lost in darkness, in depression, anxiety. And I really agree with you in the sense that, yeah, it comes from like not having God in their hearts. And to the first guy that spoke, I really want to say that if you ever do the experience with God, He will heal you. And even though you are not present right now, you are ignoring me in the phone or something. I want to tell you that God, I want to tell you that God can do miracles in your life, like things that you will never imagine. So don't be afraid to seek God.
He's going to join the pro-life speaking circuit with me. We talked about it earlier, right? He's a very smart man.
Yes, yeah. And then the second thing is that for the guy who asked about women and men who struggle with post-abortion trauma, yeah, I'm a Catholic, and I, as Catholic, think that our Catholic Church loves and wants to provide the true healing, and the true healing comes from the Eucharist. So Jesus Christ in the Eucharist do help you heal those wounds, and that's the only way. But my question is for you the following. I have friends that think that, like, democratically speaking, if abortion were to be legal, we have to respect it, and there's no other comeback, because most people agree to it. What's your view on that?
So the law, we live in a country that is a democratic republic, so we do care about people's opinions, right? Of course they matter. But even in a democratic republic, people do not have the right to come together and vote on an innocent person's death. Certain things are not acceptable to put on the ballot. Abortion is not acceptable to put on the ballot, to vote yes or no for an innocent babies to live or die. And so there are limits. And so it is already in our Constitution under the 14th Amendment that no state has the right to deprive anyone of life without due process, and that every person should be given equal protection under the law. So already our Constitution says that all people should be given equal protection under the law. Abortion should already be illegal, and it's California that's in violation of our Constitution right now, permitting the slaughter of babies up until birth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Let's give a round of applause for John Paul and the amazing team putting this together.
And that's all, folks. Anyways, it's Anthony checking out. And then tonight live stream right now. All right, so take care, and till next time, we'll see you on the flip side and stream.